That you gotta go. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's wraps. It's unfortunate because I think he could still be a good coach somewhere, but
Okay.
back to the drawing board, buddy. Like it is what it is. They'll always take the player uh, first, and then if it doesn't work out
The
for Pablo,
player
then he's
being
gone next
Pablo
year.
Bencaro.
Yeah, he'll be gone if next season doesn't pan out, but they will definitely rock out one more year.
Oh, you got to
with a
see the
new
talent,
coach.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like because the GM will never want to admit defeat first. You fire the coach. It's like, oh, the coach is what did me wrong, not the draft pick.
True. True.
It's easier
Well,
to fix.
So hoping that Victor Wembanyama wins the West. We'll talk about that later.
oh man.
Oh,
Well,
that's the agenda. All right.
I'm gonna
Good chat.
officially introduce us because it has been a while. But welcome back to another episode of the Locker Room. We talk all types of basketball. First off, shout out to Real Talk. Hope you are in some great spirits. We got a lot of conversations to get to. To my left, I have my guy Derek of Not Just Dribble, and to my bottom, I have Wes. We have a lot of things to get to in this jam-packed episode. Obviously, the NBA regular season is over, so all the yap about we'll see you in June, July, all that stuff happens right now, and I'm very excited to see how all these things play out in this episode. We'll be basically covering the awards and some bits and pieces of the first round. Fellas, how y'all doing?
I'm upset at how comfortable West gets to be in these times. These are supposed to be stressful times. These are supposed to be times of angst. And the fact that he just knows he's at least skipping to the Western Conference Final is, you know,
Yeah,
what a joyous position to be in.
that's what 82 is for, man. So
Mm.
yeah, we're very thankful to Denver for taking that last game seriously. Very thankful to De'Aaron Fox for just being so trash. So just I'm in a spirit of gratitude, man. I'm grateful, just grateful. How about you, fellas, man?
Oh, brother. I actually think that's the perfect place to start this conversation because the whole point of playoff seeding, and I could be wrong, real talk, right? I thought the point of it was to play more inferior competition so you have a higher chance of winning. And for the Denver Nuggets, they had one of the most confusing spells where they didn't want to try to win. They did. And now, based on their role, they now have to go through I believe the Wolves, the Spurs,
The Spurs
and then
and
OKC.
OKC.
And then the
Yeah.
Spurs didn't try to win when you could have literally flipped it onto OKC where you wouldn't have to go through both. And now you do. It feels like a very weird spot for them to manage themselves from. And people are trying to spin it like, oh, well, that just means they're not scared of anyone. No one wins. Like, listen, we are in April now. All this, I think, nonsense about he's not scared. That's not how you win titles. You win titles by being a 1 through 3 seed who has home court advantage, who's playing easier competition. The path is everything to a title. And for a team like OKC, who dominated the entire regular season, which we'll get to them for sure, they now are poised to go to another finals again. So, like Real Talk said earlier, I am kind of sick because West is easily in the best position right now of anyone up here
I
on
think
this
the
panel.
Spurs were trying to win that game, though. That's like the thing. Like people take because Wemby didn't play that they weren't trying to win, but at the same time, like they've been a very successful ball club without Wemby this season. I think they were, they kind of knew that the Nuggets were sitting a lot of their players. I would have to assume the assumption was, hey, after Jokic like qualifies for awards, all the awards his fans swear up and down he doesn't care about. After he qualifies for those, then he's going to sit down the rest of the game, and then we're playing Fox, we're playing Castle, we're playing Harper, we're playing Vassell. Like that
Mm.
should get us over the top. But hey, Jalen Pickett had other plans. Salute to that young man. Salute to him.
Julian Strawther,
Yeah.
special.
Hooped. Yeah, nah. So that does put us in a very precarious overall situation. It kind of, I would say, reminds me of when we saw the Spurs, who were already completely eliminated, beat Denver on the last day of the regular season, which led to them meeting up with, I think, the Wolves in, I I believe, round two, and they lost that, right? So like those types of moments impact the entire roading for the playoffs, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. We are officially at the end of the season. There's been a lot of heated overall debates with who exactly will go where or what, but let's get started with our first award of the season so far. Rookie of the Year. I don't know about y'all, but normally how this goes is whoever puts up the most stats in their first year, independent of wins, is the Rookie of the Year. This is one of the, I would say, hmm, it feels like a rare time because now it's more so about how impactful you are to your team and how good your team is. And Khan seems to be the locked in favorite for it. I do think Cooper Flag made a very good run at the end to make it more of a conversation. What are y'all picks for Rookie of the Year? Is anyone up here doing a co-ballot this year? Let me know.
Yeah, it'll be me, man. I think they've got to share the award. Um, yeah, I think it's the only way. I think that Cooper peaked higher for sure, but Khan being that much of a contributor, like from day one, it means so much to me. And he was also healthy. You know, no, not that it's a knock against Flag, but Flag missed a lot of time, and he also didn't play winning basketball or meaningful basketball. I'll say. I won't say he didn't play winning basketball, but I think they've got to share it. If you force me to lean one way, I think I'm gonna just lean Khan. The games played and his contribution to the end goal, which is winning, and then breaking rookie records and stuff. So
Okay, okay. You
I
get
want to hear real talk first because I saw you tweet about this that there is what do you call it, the litmus test?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Um,
curious. I want to hear this.
I'm not even saying that one way or the other. I guess is like wrong, but I do think that um, it is showing kind of like your thought process on how you judge basketball players in totality, because the two cases require such different arguments. And I think both though like have the chance of beating the other. If I were to lean one way, I'm going Cooper Flag. Salute to Con Knipple. He's definitely been more consistent and whatnot. Salute to him. He's had a fantastic regular season. I don't want to take away from that. However, it's just like when people drive home the argument with efficiency and he's playing on this caliber of team, and they attribute like the driving force of offense to him and Charlotte being successful. I mean, number one, that success is more so tied to LaMelo Ball than anybody else on their team. If you look at the data that they've collected throughout the season, they still have a 124 offensive rating with LaMelo Ball's on the court and Nipple isn't. Um, Whereas with Nipple on the court and LaMelo off, they fall away to like 112. So, and what's interesting about that, like with LaMelo off the court, that is a more similar situation to what Cooper Flag has been dealing with all season. So, it's like I get that he's been very efficient. I get that um he's had a fantastic season. Now, to me, just from a basketball standpoint, obviously, I'm not going to just look at on off data to say that Nipple has been one of the driving forces for that offense being a very good offense because he's one of the best shooters in the world. But I just feel like Nipple is continuously asked to do something that he's really good at, whereas Cooper Flag has built the year doing things that he's not particularly good at, getting better at those things and then being a better player. I believe like the second half of the season going forward, like the first half of the season, Cooper Flag is not remotely as good as the second half of the season, Cooper Flag that we saw, in my opinion. So it's like once he did actually get some of those things in order, I just feel like Cooper Flag was just a significantly better basketball player. And so I do feel like Con Canipul is slotted where he needs to be slotted and performing fantastic in that role. No diss to him, but like they're asked to do two completely different things. And I do also feel like if Cooper scaled his game down, that he could very much so contribute to a winning basketball team.
Whew.
Yeah, agree with all that. I mean, I think historically this is going to be looked at as like it was a two-man race the whole time, and I feel like that would be kind of wrong. I think this was Khan's award for most of the year. Uh, Even if we all recognize that Flag was clearly the superior talent like the whole way through, we saw flashes for sure all season, but I think Flag really didn't put together this taking the whole award case until like the last month and a half, which I mean isn't nothing, but we also recognize that is kind of like the chillest time for basketball for the most part. It's when you can definitely bully some weaker teams that are clearly tanking, clearly got second units out there. Not a coincidence that a lot of his scoring output came in the last second. Again, like Cooper's still putting together a great case. I really feel like this is really boiled down to the Carmelo LeBron Rookie of the Year race. That's what I've constantly compared it to. Uh, and I feel like there's really no wrong answer. I think looking back, Carmelo should have won that award. I think he put together the better season. Uh, Led more to winning. His team actually made the playoffs. Obviously, Charlotte being a ninth seed technically wouldn't make the playoffs back then, but they have a shot to make it. The Mavs obviously don't. So I don't know. Like to me, it feels like it should be Khan's award at the end of the day. I think giving it to Flag is again a little based off potential and feeling like we don't want to be wrong historically because we all project Flag to be the better player. But it's like, who's going to care about Rookie of the Year? You know what I mean? Like, it never really matters as an award for a resume long term. So I don't know. For me, I think it's Khan more impactful for winning this season, albeit clearly in a better situation. Um, but exceeded his role and played like a top 30 offensive player, arguably minimum top 40 for the whole season. So I feel like that's my value. So I feel like I'm going Khan, but Coop definitely made it a race.
I think that's the best part, right? This is a award that is such a heated debate thing at the time, but once you hit year 2, no one talks about it. Year 3, year 4, like it's never as hot as it is right now. I think that the thing that's gonna hurt Cooper Flag in the conversation, to me at least, is Khan's consistency overall. And really, just like the games played, Khan has only missed one game on the season. And I feel like for like a lot of people who like actually have to vote on it, they're gonna probably give him that grace. I'm kind of with Wes. I feel like I want to do Coles because I think both have been like really standout talents. I think Flag is the better player. I didn't watch much of him in college, but I think he has definitely played a lot better than a lot of people thought he would as well. And I think Cooper Flag deserves some grace because he got thrown onto a team as the great white hope replacement for Luka Doncic, which is a insane mantle to, I would say B, and did everything for his team in that way. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give him grace there. Obviously, he had Anthony Davis for like what? I think 8 games, and then he goes down. Like his role has changed so much all throughout this team, and he got better and better and better and better. And I'm pretty sure next year he's going to be very good as well. So I lean towards Coles. If you don't allow me to do Coles, then I'm probably gonna go with Khan for the season. But I think Flag deserves to share this spotlight with Khan, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go with that. You
I
know,
feel like I'm not mad at Coles. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at Coles. Um, but Rookie of the Year award to me is one of the more accurate awards I think that is handed out in the NBA because funny enough, it's just not an award that's centralized around winning, and so then it more so looks at
Fair.
who's a better basketball player. I think more so than any other award. And I'm sorry when I've gotten to the conclusion of the regular season, and salute to Conca Nipples like consistency. I'm not saying that's not a good thing. It's a great thing, especially for a running team. But like my conclusion was Cooper Flag is better than him
Yeah.
and was better than him with some of these performances that he's able to put together. And to Derek's point, I know he said like second half of the season and what, but like he's doing this stuff against teams that like need to win. Like the Clippers were trying to win games. Orlando has been trying to win games, and he
Yeah.
dropped 50 on them. Like
Good point. Yeah.
it's
Is it your opinion that he had a better season, or you're just saying he's the better player?
um
That's a good one.
better season. I feel like
Mm,
they're having no. It's
got him,
because I
fat.
don't. No, it's just because it's so much easier to explain Con Knipper having a better season. So I feel like people are
Okay.
like saying that kind of by default, but it's like
Mm.
I don't know. Has Con Knipper been more consistent in what he's asked to do? Sure, I'll say that, but I don't. I still don't think when I reach heights that you didn't even have to attempt to during the season, then what does that say? Like,
I mean, I
I don't
hear
want to.
that. Uh, I hear that, but I feel like that is just a little. I don't think you would intend to, but I think it's a belittling a little bit of what Coop's accomplished because it's not like he was just a six man.
Well,
He
Con,
was.
Con.
Oh, did I say Coop? Yeah, Khan. Like he came in as a starter on a team that wanted to aspire to more this season, and immediately became one of the best plug and play players. Period. One of the most efficient players in the sport. Period. Like a vet from day one, a player that, and I mean, it certainly helps that his archetype is also extremely versatile. Like this is a player we would love to
Yeah.
airdrop onto all of our teams immediately. But and the fact he's doing this year one, I'm not going to say mistake free, but as far as a season, if I could just conjure up a season for a rookie, there's very few more successful than what Khan's been able to do this year. To Coop's point, I think that's the thing. It's a lot of ups and downs, and for good reason. I mean, Coop would have to be, just almost defying the odds for being able to stay consistent with this season. The team is in disarray on top of basically trying to lose, playing out of position against NBA comp. Like to your point, Khan has had definitely a better supporting cast, especially throughout the year. But I just feel like what a rookie's asked to do and to be successful, I literally don't think Khan could have done any better than what he did this year. As far as like Coes, I'm not mad. It's only happened 4 other times in NBA history, but it happens like once every 15 years,
Mm.
which kind of leaves it's like, okay, then we're kind of due. Because the last time it happened, I think was 2000 or 2001. Um, so it's like, if that's the case, then okay, maybe we're due. Maybe once every 20 years. But in any case, I wouldn't be mad at that. But Coop winning outright, I'd be like, I don't know. I think also the fact I expect Coop to have some hardware later in his career makes me feel like why not just give this one to Khan, which maybe that isn't fair,
I
but
mean,
that's where I'm
yeah,
at.
yeah. Also, I would just like because actually remember discussing the potential of Rookie of the Year prior to the season, and ironically enough, I remember hearing arguments like, "Oh well, when AD's on the team, and if Kyrie Irving comes back in December, then how much is Cooper Flag really going to have to do?" And so
Yep.
then that can hurt his Rookie of the Year case because his stats and stuff won't be there. So how do we judge him as a player? And it's actually interesting now to see him lose to a player that got to do exactly that. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I think I'm with Derek though. I think that's it's an oversimplification of his role and his contribution throughout the season, his contributions, and the fact that Charlotte wasn't healthy like the entire year. He dealt with a lot of injuries. LaMelo missed time. Um, all of their all of the guys in their top four, per se, missed some time this year. So
That's when they
what
were a bad
Khan,
team. No, when LaMelo.
yeah, but that doesn't change his effectiveness. So
It does if some of his argument is based
Khan has
on
played
the.
good basketball all season, and I think that's what the heart of the argument is, especially for him. If you're gonna make the case for him, it's he's played good basketball all season, and he's also contributed to winning. I don't think we could just the role he was put in, he performed. Because even when he was asked to do more, he performed, but the team lost. Okay, that's just like Coop. And then when he was asked to scale back and contribute to winning, he did that. And maybe some people feel like, well, Coop did it in just a smaller sample, and that's fine. I think it's when you average it out, though, like Khan has had a better season. But salute to Coop. It's not. I don't think you could go wrong. That's why I said Coles. What are you talking about Khan's year, like in his role? It's like feels a little nasty.
I mean,
Hey,
the record without LaMelo to me does mean something. If part of his argument is going to be, well, he's contributing to like this winning team. They're 3-7 without LaMelo Ball. Like they're not a good team when LaMelo Ball doesn't play. So if that's part of his argument, then that is something to be brought up in the case. But I don't. It's not that I don't think what you call it, Con Knipple doesn't have an argument. If he wins the award, I feel like he would have earned it.
yeah,
I personally would go Cooper Flag at this point by the end of the season. I did have Con Knipple for a majority of the way, but the way that Cooper closed the season, I got Coop. Um, yeah, for me personally, but
fair,
a salute to Con Knipple.
fair,
If they
and
did go, I wouldn't be mad at it either.
And I just want to say I'm happy that we have two great white players in the NBA at the same time as rookie players. Love to see the diversity, equity, and inclusion in our league, man. It's great. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brothers. But anyway, let's move on to another award that I think might be more open and shut. I could be wrong about this. Coach of the year. Me personally, I came into the season high on what Joe Mazzulla could do. Did I believe they were going to be the second best team in the Eastern Conference? No, I figured they would be somewhere in the race. And I just think the more and more that I watch the well-oiled, I would say, machine Boston is, I think he deserves a ton of credit. I mean, especially that win with no starters at the end, where a team is trying to win, like they need to win and they lose on the very last day. I think that is a great, I would say, proof of just how well oiled Boston has been. And I think the system that has been put in place by Joe has been a very productive thing where so many role players can thrive and they are being well maximized. So, me personally, I think Joe Mazzulla should definitely win this.
Mm. Um, I've got. I'm still going Eastern Conference, but I've got JB. Um,
Okay.
I just I can't say enough about what he's done in Detroit. Um, and to win 60 games with that team, like on paper, that's not a 60-win roster. And I think for everything that they are defensively and like on paper what they are defensively, because they're great defensively on paper. But him being able to get that team to 60 wins, figuring out how to make it work when they were bereft of talent offensively, and they lost a lot in this offseason with some contributions in terms of Malik. I remember in the offseason, people didn't think they won the offseason. They didn't think they had a very strong showing. Ivy, prayers to that brother, everything he dealt with. And JB's still figuring out ways to get it done. And yeah, he had a star player, Cade had an ascension, but I'm gonna give JB a lot of that credit as well, and that's my vote.
Okay.
Yeah, I see the award being talked about as if it's just like Joe Mazzulla's hands down. I probably lean Joe myself, but I do feel like we're doing a disservice to what JB Biggerstaff was able to accomplish this season. Um, they just won 60 games this year. Like, that's to be acknowledged and applauded for not only the players on that roster, but like the coaching staff as well, because the expectations weren't for that to happen, and they've been a good team without Cade this year. Um, which again is a big shout out to what he's doing. We're seeing the emergence of a Jenkins, right? If Joe Mazzulla is going to get the emergence or get credit for the emergence of his players that we didn't expect performing over there, then I think JB Bickerstaff should get that same thing. He's rejuvenated. Um, Kevin Herter. Kevin Herter has been a journeyman. Now he's finding a place and a role in this Detroit team and being a plus factor for them. So Duncan Robinson was a player Miami was good off of and stuff like that. So I think JB definitely deserves some credit. However, I am going with Joe Mazzulla though. I think Joe Mazzulla should win the award. What he's been able to do in Boston this year is quite impressive, to be honest with you. And yeah, that game against Orlando did kind of
I'm saying,
was a
bro.
good stamp for him. That was a good stamp, good way to end the season to win the award. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just agree with everybody. I feel like my one shout, not that he has a chance. I think it is a two-man race. Will be probably like Jordan Ott for the Suns. I think they were supposed to be like bottom of the barrel, and I feel like he somehow carved out a 10-man rotation with players that prior could have been like G leaguers, like a Gillespie comes to mind. Dylan Brooks like it looked like an actual viable offensive option for stretches, and I feel like he deserves a little credit. I mean, Brooks' development obviously, but I don't know. I mean, I can appreciate coaches that can get the most and maximize rosters that don't have that upper echelon talent or situation. Because as Missoula and Bickerstaff, who I do agree are the two best or two top candidates for this year, they do have that upper echelon. They got a Cade, they got a Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum obviously returned late, but I don't know. So shout out to the guys that can make it work even when there isn't like a clear uh head of the snake, so to speak. Having said that, I do think it is Missoula's award. This was supposed to be a break year for the Celtics, taking on a contract like Simon's, knowing Tatum was going to miss most of the season. Their front court was made up of guys that were maybe third stringers on legit teams, and now they got a 10-man. Like they got a Hugo Gonzalez who now looks like a legit rotation player. Good defender. JB, who I think most of us kind of expected to have a good year, but we didn't expect it to like lead to winning necessarily. I mean, you got to get credit. Like, and this coaching staff, post Udoka has also kind of been depleted. Like Charles Lee's no longer a Celtic coach as well. So the fact that like Missoula's improved the offense each year he's been at the helm, and he's done it with like the talent has kind of come and gone, and you've had some rotations. I don't know. This is his award. The fact, by the way, like we'll probably get to it either this episode or later. The Celtics are probably everyone's favorite to come out of the East still. That's got to say something. I get it, like the Cade injury and whatnot, but I don't know. The fact that you can do this when it's unexpected and still be a championship contender, I mean, you got to give all the credit to Missoula and that coaching staff.
Yeah, the last nerd thing I'm gonna say with why I feel like it should be Missoula for me at least is the fact that the Boston system is able to make almost every player independent of their individual talent a threat consistently, and without Brown, like they're such a well-oiled machine that they have better advanced metrics without Jalen Brown playing, which leads to, well, how good is Brown really? I just think that like the system in place is able to put these players in such a great spot, even if Brown isn't there, the ball movement and just the pure, I think, concentrated shooting and where to be on the floor is why that team runs the way that it does. And I think for this team to even be in a spot where, wow, Jason Tatum could legitimately be the X factor to them actually winning the title and them being good enough without him for the entire year to even be in that spot. I think he deserves credit there. But big shout out to JB because listen, as someone that went to these games, seeing Detroit lose back-to-back games, horrible, like really, really bad from, I believe, Monty Williams. I don't really want to say his name like that. Seeing them win 60 games does mean something. So I don't hate that, but I got to go JB there. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say next. This next
Pistons,
award,
by the way, 7-4 against the top 5 teams in the league this year, and 17-7 against the top 10, and they have the best net rating in the league against the top 5 teams. So again,
I mean, talk about it. Yeah.
you know,
They did beat a hot LA team without Kate Cunningham. That was a huge win. You know what I'm saying? So
they did do that, unfortunately.
yeah. I want to get to another award that to me might be more debatable. I'm curious about where you guys are with it. The most improved player of the year. If I'm being so real with y'all, for a good chunk of the season, and I'm curious about how y'all feel about this. I had Keontae George, and then the Jazz hold that man by just, completely making sure he doesn't, play. There's other players in this conversation. I think I have shifted from him to probably Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I think the growth in his game has been tremendous for them to where he's been really, really, really valid. And the Hawks team got so hot to the point where they actually escaped the annual Miami Heat, Hawks, and Bulls playing invitation. No, they just outright made the playoffs. So I lean Nickeil for this, but let me know some names that come, I would say, to y'all mind.
Nikhil.
Word.
If if I have to add another, I think Duran should be in the running.
Yeah, that was my shot.
I think the numbers don't pop off the screen, but Kata has to be in the running to me. Like what
Good shout
Kata
too.
has turned himself into for Boston and for himself. Like my gosh, he's about to change a lot of things for his family because I think he has to at least get 10 per. Like
Oh yeah.
Kata as well. So those are the three guys that really stand out to me. I like the George shout, but yeah, he won't even qualify. Any other names?
I mean, those are my three. I think Duren makes it a really close race. I feel like Walker's my vote because I feel like Walker himself probably improved more overall than Duren did. I think Duren improved on his strengths. I think Walker improved on his weaknesses as well. And I think that's just like what makes it difficult. I think also Duren being in, I feel like a better situation for himself, playing, not being the best player on the team. I feel like I think Walker makes it closer to Jalen Johnson than Duren is to Cade. So for me, that's why it's like, Jalen Johnson I think is the better player. But my point being, I feel like Walker just minutes go up, efficiency goes up, arguably both sides of the basketball improve, and he's being able to lead a team, albeit in a weaker conference, to more success as well. Post their like star player in Trae Young getting traded, like that's hard to do. That's hard to do to like find consistency for yourself and for your team and being a big part. Duren, I think same thing. You could say this honestly, make the same case for Duren just because Cade went down and wasn't playing for just under 20 games. And Duren was like the next best player. So I get the case. I think it's close, but I agree. I feel like it's Nickeil just really took a crazy step.
Ryan Ronlins is another fantastic shout, by the
Great
way.
name.
He's had a
That's a good name.
fantastic season. Um, He
Yeah,
damn
shame about
actually beat
Milwaukee.
numbers. Yeah. I got Nikhil as well, though. I mean, Nikhil has made such a tremendous jump in this game, hitting 40% of his threes on like damn near 8 attempts or whatnot. Like he's had a remarkable season, and it's kind of like driven me back to this question that I be having, where it's like part of being better is having the opportunity to be better. Like,
Mm,
because I also don't believe in another player. Um, Another player I thought about this, like Jalen Brunson, his year from going from Dallas to New York. It's like I know players can have tremendous off seasons and get better, but are they getting that much better, or is it like an opportunity arose, and so then they were
right.
able to show more of the like the player that they are in better opportunity. Again, that doesn't discount that they probably did have a tremendous offseason and stuff like that, but it's like it's very interesting seeing how players just get somewhere else and blossom into this volume statistical player that you probably didn't or wouldn't even assume. That's why like I'm not worried about the expansion and stuff like that, because there are more Nikhil Alexander Walkers, there are more Jalen Brunsons, there are
Definitely.
more, Jalen Johnson now. His statistical volume gets to go
Hmm.
up now that Trey Young isn't there and stuff like that. Like there are more players like that in the league, and so it's just going to be exciting, like seeing those next ones that do that.
I
Hopefully,
think
AJ Mitchell has to go.
Yeah, I think you bring up a very intriguing point because people don't often think about it, but like a lot of a player's growth is based on your situation, based on what changes. I think a perfect player that we don't really mention enough in these talks overall has to be Tyrese Maxey, where every single year his role changed from year to year to year to year to year, and now he's at this level. But it's like, are we getting this same Tyrese Maxey if it was still Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and all this and all that, right? Like a lot of things had to shift his way, but he worked on his game year in, year out, and he got overall to this point. I think a player that's not gonna win it, but I do want to give flowers. Shout out to my man Keldon Johnson. Great improvements for sure this year as well, right? Like there's many players in that mold. I think for Nikhil, he lucked into a great spot where he got his contract from playing a role and then came on to a team that had a lot of changes with their best player, and then it became more of a by overall, I would say, group thing, and then he started to like really fire off from the beginning of the season all the way to the end. So I would say in his way, auto because of that. So yeah,
Mhm.
but
All right.
love the award. Um,
Anyone
Benny was
shout
also
AJ?
another. Mhm.
hmm?
AJ Mitchell.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
he's been
I
great.
had to step away. I didn't know if anybody shouted out my guy. He
Yeah,
won't qualify though. Missed too much of the season,
Yeah,
but yeah.
unfortunately, yeah. You know,
it's
big shout out
unfortunate.
to the embarrassment of riches that Oklahoma City has. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on to the next award. I think this is gonna be a clean sweep, but we'll see if y'all surprise me. DPOI. I'm gonna just ask this question: like, how unanimous is this gonna be every year?
If he plays, he wins.
Yeah, yeah, pretty unanimous. I think Chet could sneak a year in there if we end up having if if he moves back full time center. We get rid of iHeart, I think he could sneak a year.
Okay.
But aside
Mm.
from that, I think it's gonna be Wemby's.
Yeah. I don't want to get this wrong. Chet, like, I feel so bad for Chet because, like, Chet is at worst the top 3 defender in the sport at this point to me. Um, yeah, at worst, of course. That's funny, but no, like he's been really, really good overall on defense. I think that in the playoffs, them versus I think Houston or like whoever, that could show a lot of his impact. The problem is Wemby is just taller and just impacts more because of his insane frame, and it's just too much. Like I think Wemby will average 2.5 blocks probably for the rest of his career, which is kind of wild to say that he can comfortably do that, but that's where we are with Wemby. So I think this one should probably be unanimous. I can't really think of a way to argue for another player unless you wanted to try to be different, but I think it's Wemby.
It's very unfortunate how perimeter defense doesn't even matter if you're good at it or not, great at it or not. Doesn't matter at all. Like somebody like a Sword Thompson who
Great year.
is going to have a season. I There was a flashpoint somebody had posted on Twitter like a while back to where he was grading out A to A plus in every B ball index metric that they had for a perimeter defensive player. And they said that would have been the first time, if this holds true, would be the first time any defensive player ever does that. And, unfortunately, I guess it doesn't swing net rating enough. So people are going to act like that's not a historic defensive season that he would be having if he's the best
Right.
chaser in the league, the best isolation defender in the league, one of the best rim protecting wings or guards in the league, and all of the combination of things. Um, I take that more into account than most people. Like the last year, I had J Dub as OKC's best defensive player. I think what he did for that team last year was absolutely insane. Um,
Mhm.
so I get it. Wemby's probably going to win the award most seasons, but I do think if that's going to be the case, we need to do something acknowledging um, perimeter defensive play.
I don't think that's crazy to say. I mean, he's averaging two. I think so. I think for Thompson's season, he's averaging two steals a game. But if you watch him, like he is legitimately putting star players in straitjackets on a night in. Like they won these games largely without Cade off of that defensive tilt. So that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like the bigger question is, yeah, like I said, I think Wemby wins it going away every year. If he plays the games, if we're gonna keep this rule, I think that's all it is. Um, for me, I think the question is for defensive teams. If you can open up a little bit, like,
It's
is
got to
it
be three
just
at this
gonna?
point.
Yeah, I mean, are we gonna get three defensive teams, and are we going to just forever see one wing, one guard get the pity vote to be on first team? Um,
Mm.
And I say pity vote because the problem is we will get to the point where it is just bigs. I think right now, my first team would only have one wing, that would be Thompson. And then the other four would be occupied by centers slash, power forwards, whatever you want to call Chet and Bam. Um, I think those two get it. And I think it's Rudy and Wemby that fill out the rest of the first team this year. And I feel like it's going to be that way kind of for a long time. I feel like, unfortunately for Thompson, uh, he is going to have an insane narrative and insane stocks and basically play 75 games to have a chance.
Yeah.
That's to have a chance. And then, I mean, if he wants to actually win, Wemby has to miss time. That's why I feel like it's going to be moving forward, which stinks because I do think like Thompson is the defender you would want to cook up in the lab, basically, to put on anyone and everything, which in like a
Easily.
normal basketball game, that's what we want. But unfortunately, to dominate in the NBA, it's about the paint still, and it's about getting rebounds, getting contesting at the basket, not even just blocks, and ending possessions. And I mean, every 7-footer is going to have an advantage that 6'7", 6'8" guy can't have. So it's tough. But that's what it is. And Wemby's just generational. Like it's not. He's
Yeah.
just 7'5" and gets stocks. He has fantastic IQ, great mobility, great instincts. I don't know, like
I've always just had a problem with how that being how awards are handed out, and this is like cross sports. Like at this
Yeah.
point, like the NFL the MVP is basically just a quarterback award at this point. Like,
yep,
but I think
Hmm.
things should be judged on how good am I doing the particular like. I I think an argument could be made that Asar Thompson could one season perimeter defend better than Wemby rim deterrence or something like that. I'm making up like a
Yeah,
scenario, but I'm trying to get
Right.
to like a more granular point of which
right.
like it's I think a running back can have a better running back season than quarterback have a quarterback season, even though we all know the better quarterback season is
Like the
more
most
valuable
important,
if
right?
that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like I think that should be more so how stuff is given out more than like, oh, this is inherently more valuable. So there's just basically no matter how good of a perimeter defender Asar Thompson is, like it just literally does not matter. I think that's a faulty way of divvying out awards.
Yeah. I don't hate that at all. I just think with Wemby, I'm scared to say this, but like this is this Glaze? This might be the worst he looks defensively. I'm like really trying to think in my
No, it's
head,
not
like,
Glaze. That's why I did this one.
okay,
Derek was saying because I think he can improve a lot. His
yeah,
positioning is often like not great to me,
true.
and obviously the strength factor, like dealing with taking blows and still being a really really effective defender. This is why I think that Chet is a more sound defender. He's just not more impactful
I
because
agree.
Wemby has the length and the size and the type of deterrence. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I just find that really, really wild. I do want to say shout out to a couple of players who aren't going to make it. I think Scotty Barnes has done a fantastic job on defense. He's been a huge part of why that team actually made the playoffs this year. So big overall shout out to him. I don't know how Derek White does it year in, year out as one of the best, I would say, rim pro guards in the entire NBA. He does really, really good there too. So we definitely want to give people on the overall perimeter love, but this is Wemby's award to lose, unfortunately. And speaking of awards to lose, let's just get it out the way, man. Most valuable player of the league this year for 2026. Um, in preseason, I had Shea. I just felt like his case was going to become like a bulletproof type of case. And I think from the beginning of the season to the end, it's kind of been that way. I do think there are players that had louder peaks than Shea this season. You could say that, sure. But in terms of like sustained excellence from the beginning to the end, with I would say team overall record, impact, all that stuff, I think Shea wins it this year. I think he goes back to back first guard to do that since Steph Curry, obviously. So that's my take on it. How y'all feel?
Yeah, I
You
think it's
throw in
Shays.
that first guard. I
Had to
see
do
you.
it.
Yeah,
I see
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
yeah.
I see
Had
you.
to got to get the propaganda in somehow.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's weird. I think every time we go through this, whether like when Steph did it, even I think multi-time or let alone back-to-back MVP, you become in rarefied air, and it starts opening the door to like the awkward conversations. And I feel like that's the hesitancy to just give Shea the MVP. Like I tried listening to the narrative for Wemby. I shouldn't say just narrative. Wemby put together a great season. Not that he didn't play like MVP caliber, but I think you have to ignore things that Shea did in order to actually cast a vote for Wemby or cast a vote for another player. I feel like that's what it comes down to. It's like there's multiple MVP caliber players every season, and I think Shea just has the best case for it. He might be in the best situation too, but he made the most of it. There's just no denying it. So I feel like it's just interesting. The rarefied air, like I said, that he's going to now enter in these combos, but beyond deserving, fantastic season. Uh, yeah, I mean, and it's just like all the more pressure coming back. Like, can you go win it all? Because people are going to enjoy this for about like a week, and then it's like, okay, see, can you go win the finals? Because that's the real back to back. If you win
Yeah.
that, then it's then it's different.
This season for me exemplifies why um being there while it happens matters,
Mm.
and
Mm.
understanding what's going on matters. Um, because I actually just went on a whole rant about this like
Oh,
an
you
hour
did?
ago. I didn't even know I was gonna get that passionate about this subject, but I really did. It just like kind of bothers me how, or it been bothering me all of the arguments that people have conjured up in the last month and a half about the MVP race that we kind of know who's going to win the award. Every other candidate has a sense argument, meaning Luca's argument had to be since January.
Mm.
Nikola Jokic's argument had to be since coming back from and
Mm.
since those first few games in February, and Wemby's argument was since he campaigned for the award. It's like
Yeah, right.
it's like, bruh, SGA's argument for MVP is since the season started, I've been great. Like
Yeah.
that's the argument. That's the reason why he's going to win the award. That's the reason why he should win the award. It's not there's no threshold. It's just season started. Shea's been great whole time. He's going to win the MVP. It's really that simple. But salute to all of the great seasons that happened this year. There's
Definitely.
salute to Jokic and his statistical profile. Absolutely, he put together a great stat sheet, and this is what I'm saying when being there matters because 20 years from now, there's going to be some kids, some know-it-alls, some me, some gifted, some Marses, some Carsons, some Logan somewhere making all of these statistical arguments as to why Jokic was better than SGA this year. Oh, his net swing was better. Oh, he was more efficient. Oh, he averaged more assists and he led the league. And it's going to be like, yeah, but I was like there. And so SGA was the best player this year. You're just gonna have to
Yeah.
believe me. I'm now sympathizing with the old heads. Hey, sometimes them niggas just right. They was there. They watched the players play in real time. You can't
Right.
just go back and look at stats all the time to determine, everything. But salute.
And like I want to add this part real quick before West goes. Obviously, he gonna get his shit off for sure. But I think the most impressive part about Shea for me is that I think the reason why he has a damn near like this case is one of the craziest. Like I would love to like do a top 25 MVP case. This has to be like a top 5 case. Like not only was he this dominant, real talk, not only has he played in, I would say, many games, he's hit many big shots. This is one of the clutchest overall years as well. But on top of all that, his J Dub barely played this season. Like anything you want to use to point to him not being the MVP, you can't really do with Shea. At every other candidate I can point to, Wemby the minutes, I don't know. Well, I saw Jokic go down, and many Denver fans, and don't take this personal, Denver fans, but a lot of y'all did tell me when Jokic goes down, we're gonna see why he's the MVP because that team's gonna fall apart. And I saw Jamal Murray turn into Jokic with them 17 assist games, and they still won games without Jokic. I'm just, like I can point to those things. With Shea, all you can point to is the model of consistency all the way through. And they maintained the number 1 seed, and he hit big shots in all of these overall matches for the most part. The only matchup that he didn't look the greatest in all the time was the Spurs matchup. And that was early in the season on a roster that was still not complete. So I got Shaq. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to add on top of that. I guess I'll just say, in terms of raw efficiency, like field goal percentage, although it's outdated, Shea's had the most efficient 30-point per game season by a guard ever in league history. I think that's pretty neat, pretty impressive. But yeah, man, we're on the bigger and better things, man. It's actually kind of boring these days.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's not crazy. Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah.
All right.
Move on. Cool.
I mean, you all said everything though. Like y'all said everything that I could think to say or want to say. So, yeah, man, salute the two. Hold your deuces up.
I definitely disagree with you, Gifted, about the top 5 cases.
I was about to say,
because
yeah,
there have
that's
just
content in
been
the
some.
offseason.
Yeah, there's been
I'm
some
super down to go
players
through
to
it.
where like
Okay.
no, it's been players who so definitively the best player in the league while still performing as the best player as well in the regular season, to where like to me, Shea's not definitively the best player in the league. I think he's the best player in the league,
Yeah,
but he doesn't
yeah,
have
yeah,
he doesn't have a chokehold on it like some of those Kareem seasons in the 70s. If you want to go to some of the seasons, pick your season from like 88 to 93 for Jordan. Pick your
yeah.
'09 to 14 season for LeBron. Like they, I don't know. They're having such dominant seasons as the best player. I don't Shaq in
I
the
was
early 2000s. It's like
Yeah. No. So like, I want to be clear, right? I'm not talking about Shea in the context of this season. I'm saying in a vacuum, if you didn't know who else was playing within his overall season, what his points are, that case has to be up there. Obviously, if you had to say, well, there's a Wemby in the league, a Luka, Jokic, whatever, then you know, oh, that's fine. But I'm saying in a vacuum, that has to be up there. And again, I don't know like the official top 25 list. I definitely think that's a off that's definitely like
season.
a June thing that we do. Yeah. I'm 100% with that.
Mm.
I was gonna say, I mean, shoot, I can go as far. I'd be curious if Shea cracks the top 5, and forget about to Real Talk's point about the best player thing. I think that's whatever. I think that's like you can definitely make the case. There's always something like that for most years, but in the last 26 years, to just shoehorn Shaq in there from 2000, does Shea have a top 5 MVP season in the past 2 decades, 2.5? Um, I think it's close, but I'd be curious to like actually sit down and go through that because I mean, just off the top of my head,
That'd be a fun thing to
Shaq,
do. Yeah.
KG, LeBron, Curry come to mind, and then obviously you can open the door to like more. Um, so yeah, I don't know, but that's fun, and yeah, I think Gifted also brought it home. I think it's like I really like I saw KOC voted for Wemby and like he has an official ballot. I'm just like I think you really have to ignore things to not give SGA a vote because I think SGA does have great narratives to go along with his obvious statistical success. So I don't know, it's fun. Shout out to Shea.
Wemby passed us up on a few advanced statistics, so that's what it is. Um, but I mean, whatever. He'll have his day. He'll definitely take an award home at some point because I got number
Oh, it's
77
starting next
won't ever
season.
do it.
It, it's basically going to start whenever if he plays
Yeah.
65 games, they're going to want to give him the award. The
He's
media is
gonna
very
yeah.
eager to start crowning Wemby. So
Or
As he's the face of
it's
the
gonna be
NBA for them. Yeah. Yeah. Air you on that for sure. Um Man, what a year though. Okay. Moving on to I think the final award of the year, which we haven't really talked about much, six man of the year. I'm gonna be honest. This goes back to a name that might not be the flashiest of names, but to me, in terms of like being a improved version of himself, but also performing on a team that's winning, I think Keldon Johnson is a good name for this award for me, man. I've just loved his process overall as a player and how he's found a way to be a real impactful player off of the bench right now for the Spurs. So I would lean Keldon. There's definitely some other good names as well to bring up, but that's my pick right now.
I don't really have like a clear pick for this award. I don't know if I want to say I cooled off on this award. I'm just not as moved. Just because there's so many different situations and so many like different team constructs.
That's
Like the
fair.
days of like also I guess the archetype of player that gets in this situation, I don't really care for either. Like being a gunner off the bench and just being like, the spark plug offensively is usually the player that wins this award. I don't really care for that archetype very much. And I also just think it's like a really minimalist way of looking at like
Mhm.
your bench. So
That's fair.
I don't really care. But if I had a vote, I'd probably would go Keldon because like team success and all that. But like Jaquez is probably the other name that comes to mind.
He's been good too, for
Because they're
sure.
like actual bench guys that do other stuff, but Kellen's main thing is scoring and being a floor spacer. Jaquez, it's like driving and hybrid defense and being crashing the glass. So it's like cool roles, but that's pretty much it. There's some other names I'm sure that deserve shout for like good seasons, but I don't know. This is a whoever wants it can have it award for me.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Look at West's face.
You want to just name a random Thunder player, Wes?
Yeah, nah. I'm cool with Keldon. I always thought it might be Jaime, but to be on a 60+ win team and make the contributions that Keldon made compared to Jaime on like a 43 win team, I get it. Weaker year for this award though. It should have been AJ's, but 57 games. So
games played and whatnot. Yeah, I'd have probably. I think West for me
I have to
personally.
check and see how many games.
Oh, sure.
I think Peyton Pritchard has
he
started.
doesn't qualify. He played too many minutes as a
I
starter.
think
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I want to be clear. My name's West for me. I would have went. Okay, if he qualified, I don't know if he does. I would have went Dennis as my number one. I would have went Keldon and then Jaime. I think the job Dennis has done for the entire season as a backup guard for them, he was very much the Jaden Ivey replacement. And he was there for many judgment days overall for this team. So that was huge for them. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he's going to actually qualify for it. So I don't really have him, but it's fair.
Another player, because Derek was just talking about like archetype of player that usually wins that award and things of that nature, and it usually is like the top bench scorer. Like that's typically wins the award. I'm going to give my guy a shout, man. A guy that I think has been phenomenal. I'm just making sure real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Hayes for the Los Angeles Lakers has been great this year, so I just wanted to give him a shout. We're a better offense and defense when he's on the court. The way that his vertical spacing is maximized when he's on the court with Luka Doncic is phenomenal. So I just want to give him a shout. He's not going to win the award, but that's just somebody else who he does come in the game and definitely impacts it at a high level. Without like averaging 15 or 17 or whatnot. Another guy that I think should be in the running for this award when he's healthy is like Steven Adams, but his numbers are never going to like pop off the screen or anything like that. But he's a highly impactful player off the bench.
What do you guys think about like the minutes thing? Also, I'm shocking shout out at Real Talk for Jackson Hayes, but not a crazy shout, especially the team has also needed size, and he actually has done a good job. It just came about like last year, because it just wasn't the right time. What do you guys
been
think
out the
about,
mud
like,
is crazy. Y'all wild,
like,
chat.
6-man. Like, can you play 30 minutes and still qualify? Like, would you award someone who does that?
I think it depends if they're consistently in that role. Like I think Lou didn't qualify one year because of something like that, and like if you're truly a bench player, and I get the Peyton Pritchard shout, having a tale of two different seasons. Okay, I was starting for a portion of the year because I needed to, but then when we found balance again and moved Anthony, I was able to go back to my natural role. I get that part of it. So I've never been against like, oh, you come off the bench and you play too many minutes, so you're not a bench player. I've never been with that. But I get why some people may say, yo, at 30 minutes, is it the same? Because then is it fair to the rest of the like candidates? Most candidates, true bench guys, are playing bench minutes, 6-man minutes, and then you had this one guy over here who's averaging 33 minutes a night or 30 minutes a night, something like that. It's
Yeah.
like, yo, it's not quite fair. So I see both sides, but I'm with. I think I'm with 30 minutes being acceptable. I'll say that.
It goes back to what Real Talk said earlier, right? Like your opportunity and your leash can often show like how good of a player you are. And if you're a bench player, you have more so a consistently limited role. So how effective you are in that spot matters. I think a guy I would give a shout that won't win anything, of course. What Tim Hardaway Jr. has done for the Denver Nuggets, bro. Like he's been a flamethrower, bro. 50% on wide open threes. That's crazy, right? Like, but
Yeah.
hey.
No, he been shooting the hell out the ball over there in Denver. Everybody go up there to Denver and learn how to shoot. I don't be understanding that one. You know what I'm saying? But salute.
Yeah. And the last name that I'll say that also plays for the Lakers that isn't really in this talk, but I just want to highlight. Shout out to Luke Kennard for being a playmaker. Actually making some things happen with the ball with many guys out. That's really cool to see players actually have that capability. I will never in my life forget seeing Cason Wallace press the shit out of LeBron James Jr. to the point where Luke Kennard had to bring the ball up. So big shout out to him. Big shout out to him.
Luke Kennard right now is a better offensive player than Draymond Green's ever been. But
all
y'all be
righty.
hyping that nigga because he can pass to Klay Thompson and Steph. Congrats.
Out the mud podcast. All righty. I think this is a great time to segue to the play-in conversation. I'll say this as a member of the play-in. Seeing my team come out and say that Steph's not going to play more than 40 minutes in a do or die game. I think I'm just over this season because this team is not really going to do shit regard. Like, even if they make it out of the play-in, congratulations. Here's OKC in like 4 or 5 games, whatever it is. Who do y'all have coming out of the play-in right now?
Are we starting one conference first or doing?
I think it's a good idea. We can begin West. Yeah, sure.
All right. Western Conference. I have Phoenix and Portland. I'm gonna be boring.
Okay.
I'm gonna be basic, but I have Phoenix and Portland.
I have Phoenix and the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to get in. I think they're going to beat Golden State, and then I think they're going to beat who I say? Yeah,
He
the
said
Suns will win their
Phoenix.
first
Yeah,
game.
so,
So yeah,
yeah.
they'll be playing the Trailblazers, and I think they're going to beat the Trailblazers. Because Kawhi Leonard has been fantastic this year, and I just think he's going to be by far and away the best player on the court for those. Well, actually, I think Steph is going to Steph. That was my opinion 2 hours ago, but I've changed my mind. I had the Warriors originally, but I've
Oh,
changed
you
my mind
did?
since.
Okay.
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm going with Kawhi Leonard actually. No, I
Yeah.
do feeling that Steph Curry in that game is finna like do some wild shit. I just have that feeling.
I will say the best playing performer of all time is Steph Curry. To be fair, but that does not mean we're gonna win the game, unfortunately. So I don't know. I think the Clippers are a pretty good shout. I think because of how Garland has been able to play and the wow factor, I think Benedict Mathurin can be. So I probably have them win as well. I'm gonna say the Clippers more so because I need them to not lose. Because if they do lose, that pick for OKC becomes a higher pick, and we don't need that to happen. So let's.
You see the vision. I was hoping
I do see the
nobody
vision.
peeped the
Nah,
play.
I peeped the
But
play. Yeah,
yeah,
nah.
I need Portland to win that, man.
Yeah,
I
nah.
need Portland to win that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I also am going Clips and Suns. I just I don't know. I feel like the Suns are the most ready to win this kind of game. I don't know, oddly enough. Trailblazers, I think they're happy to be here, but like next year is their year to actually make some noise a little bit more in the regular season. I think they're actually going to get like some solid guard play. I think Scoot Henderson is sneaky. He's going to be sneakily kind of good next year. That's like my hot take prediction. And yeah, I think the Clips have enough. I just don't know if the Warriors have a beating heart right now. Like they might be like a corpse walking. I just they're so dead in the water. I think they've been dead for 2 months, and like if they beat the Clips, it is bad for the NBA on multiple fronts. And I just feel like I don't know. Do I want to see the Warriors get absolutely like dropped for a series when I feel like they've kind of mailed it in? Not really. So.
For those that don't watch the Warriors, let me fill you in on what's been happening. We signed Charles Bassey to our roster, and he's been one of the best players since he came in. We're getting some rhythm between Steph and Porzingis, but they barely play. This team just doesn't have enough reps together to be able to then say, I'm going to trust you to win 2 games in a play-in, even though Steph could be lights out. So that's why I don't really trust it. Also, we need some type of draft pick. So it would be in our best interest to lose. And I think that's why they're saying Steph is going to play, I think, more than 40 minutes, because they also want to slightly tank the game as well. So I don't know. But, hey, that's Western Conference. We can pivot to the East, which I will say this. The funniest part, and this goes back to the Rookie of the Year conversation, and this is where I will side with RT a little bit. Charlotte could very well still not make the playoffs, which is so, like, as hot as they were, the hole that they were in when they had no LaMelo, no Brandon Miller was such a big ass hole that they were not able to get all the way out of the plan. And I'm pretty sure they're at the 9th or 10th seed right now, right?
Yeah, they're 9.
Yeah, they're 9.
Yeah,
Crazy.
they may
play,
not even get
Miami.
I think Miami could
tomorrow.
actually get what I'm saying. I low-key might have Miami beating them tomorrow, bro. And I feel bad about saying that because I think the Hornets are a better team than Miami, but I think a game plan for a one-off that, like, all Charlotte has to do is shoot badly, and it's anyone's game at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, man. For Charlotte, I'm going to pick them as the home team.
Okay.
But I would not be surprised if Miami won. But I really like Charles Lee. So, and I think he's a really good coach. I don't think he gets enough shouts as
Fair.
what he is and what he's brought to Charlotte. So I'll pick Charlotte, and I'll pick Philly. Yeah. Well, Philly Embiid is done.
That's hardball about Philadelphia too, man.
Man,
it's tough.
The young man needs to retire.
I might be there.
I'm gonna go Philly. Charlotte and Orlando. Screw it. I'm gonna go Orlando. They kind of have to win.
Low-key think Orlando not gonna make it.
Feel good though. Yeah, yesterday made me feel.
I don't know, bro. But, if they don't make it out the play-in, I think Mosley gets fired, right?
For sure.
I think he's a lame duck regardless.
I think so too. I think first round exit, he's still out.
I think Philly's still going to win that game, though, to be honest with you. I'm still picking Philly to win that game. Orlando's not that good.
Yeah.
The other game, I'm picking Charlotte, but I am with everybody because, Eric Spoelstra is, at this point, we know he's a try-hard, so,
And they have more playing experience.
Yeah, he's going to be out there running 1-2-2 zones, full court, goofy shit like that. So we'll have to see what Miami conjures up for that matchup. But it's going to be a tightly contested game, I do think. But I think just the talent of the Hornets offensively will prevail in that matchup. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Hornets. And I still have Philly beating Orlando. Because Orlando's just, they're not serious.
I actually think Philly could do it, and I know Derek knows his team a lot, but to be honest, I think VJ and I think Maxey can explode in a game for you. Like, that's doable. I don't know.
I'll tell you what's going to happen because the basketball gods are nothing if not cruel. and they know exactly how they're going to piss me off. Um, Maxi's going to have a game of his life to get Boston in the first round matchup so Boston can sweep us and everyone can tell me how terrible the Sixers are for 4 games when they're actually tuning in. When they didn't watch a single Philly game all year, but they're going to watch Philly be ass for 4 games, get swept by Boston, and then, just remind me that Boston's got their number. Um, and I'll tell you what, I think Bam's going to drop a cool 74 and beat Charlotte, despite everyone wanting Charlotte to actually be the team we want to watch. And then the Pistons are going to beat Miami in 5 in the first round because Miami is not a team that deserves to be there. Um, yeah, and because that's how they're going to piss me off. That's exactly how it's going to go. I want Charlotte to win. I think Charlotte versus Detroit
Will be
is
a fun
truly
series.
almost the tale of two teams. And I think that's just a really fun dichotomy. I think it's a great challenge for Detroit. Like, how real are you? I don't think this is a fluke season, but you got to show it. And Charlotte, I think, is the ultimate test. I think they have a great time with Miami, which I don't want. I want to see like a fight. And I honestly like. Yes, I want my team to actually have a chance in the playoffs. I just don't think we do. Um, so I almost don't really feel like watching that. And I feel like Orlando's kind of like a postseason roster on paper. I know they haven't played like it, and they've pissed I think all of us off at some point this year. But I really want to see Paulo, Franz, Desmond, and Jalen, and Anthony Black for that matter. I really feel like that's a 5 that could actually give Boston a harder series. Um, I'd still obviously pick Boston to come out, but I feel that it's just more interesting playoff basketball that I want to watch. VJ, you're going to get a chance in the future in the playoffs, buddy. I don't really care. And Maxi's going to average 32 on mid efficiency in that series, and so it's going to do nothing for me propaganda wise. So I'm good.
I mean, sounds about right to me. That's definitely how that'll probably go. So that takes us to our last segment of the stream here. Then predicting the first rounds. I do want to say this. I got a report about Luca like 2 hours ago. He went to Spain. He got that injection. I think he could come back by the end of this series, or maybe at the beginning of the second round. I don't think he should. Me personally, like, I just don't think you play with a hamstring this close to it. I think Austin Reeves will not be coming back, I think, the first round because he has the American doctor. So he's not coming back
They ruled
probably.
him out. They did rule him
Yeah.
out.
Okay. How do we feel about a Lakers versus, I would say, Rockets, I think, playoff series?
Be it that they're my two teams, you know what I'm saying? But clearly I've picked my side. You see the jerseys in the back. You see the light faintly to the left, purple. Um, that's who I'm rocking with. Now, are we going to win the series? Absolutely not. The Rockets are going to win, but I will be cheering for the Lakers.
Okay.
I will say this about the also Reeves and Luka Doncic coming back thing. I'm going to let them make that decision because just like when we say we don't know um, what these players are going through the sit out games, we also don't know what they feel like to potentially come back and play. So I'm going to let
Mm-mm.
the athlete make that decision.
That's fair.
I don't know how Luca's feeling. I don't know how also Reeves is feeling. Um, yeah, we're just missing too much talent at this point with Luca and Austin out. I'm going to assume they're going to be out the totality of the series. I'm not expecting either one of
Okay.
them to come back for this particular series. So I have the Rockets winning. I do think this series is probably going to go to like 6 games just because of how flawed and unserious a team the Houston Rockets can be from time to time. I've just seen them too many times this year. Just do, quite frankly, no way other way to put it, dumb things
Dumb
to
shit.
lose basketball games.
Yeah.
Um, Minnesota immediately comes to mind. Just an horrific loss. But I do think that because they lack shooting, some of JJ's schemes, some of the things he wants to do, zoning up, stuff like that, can have some success because they lag perimeter shooting. I also think that their lack of rim pro big and lack of like size at the wing could yield for some success for LeBron James in this particular series. One thing that we've seen as far as him throughout the entirety of his career, you need somebody that can kind of match him with physicality at the point of attack and great rim protection, which they don't have. Um, Sengun, shout out to him, but he's no like threatening rim protector that's going to deter LeBron James from the rim. So I do think that the Lakers with the LeBron performance or two, some decent shooting out of Rui and Luke a couple of games maybe gets us to. I'm not expecting us to get swept though. I do think the series goes at least 5 games, but the Rockets are going to win because they're just the better team right now.
Whew. Okay. Yeah. I like the way Real Talk talked about the series in terms of CTE, because I have seen the Rockets pull off some great miracle feats of CTE, especially with some of the shit that we see Ime do or not do. But this might be a sweep, and the reason why I say that is like the talent disparity is one thing, but the defensive tilt for what Houston likes to do with Amon and the bigs and rebounding, like, bro, I'm sorry. If DeAndre Ayton, if 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 I'm getting the same DeAndre Ayton who was talking shit about, I would say Capella, slightly, and he just isn't really that viable in this overall series, and it's more so Jackson Hayes. I think the Lakers are pretty much deep fried. I don't think it's gonna be a sweep though, because I do think the CTE of Houston is enough to lose games. Also, as quiet as Kevin, again, great player. I don't hate the player, but I just have to be honest. Kevin Wayne Durant with these free throws, man, the entire season. I don't know what he's been on with that type of stuff. So I think they probably do lose the game, but I just think they have a overwhelming advantage in the series. So I lean Houston still, in like probably
I
5
also
games.
think that LeBron is probably going to try. Here's going to be something interesting I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Like, he's going to try to play Reed Shepard off the court because I think he's going to relentlessly try to hunt him in mismatch situations,
Mm,
to where they have to put two on the ball, and because he's gotten the switch, we'll see how that pans out for him. If Reed is closing the games, I think that does lead to the Lakers being able to create more quality looks themselves down the stretch of a game. Now, will they capitalize on that?
fair point. Yeah.
We'll see. But I do think that LeBron is going to be strategic enough to very much so have a missile on Reed Shepard's back the entire time that he's on the court with
He
LeBron.
gonna get 100 for sure. Yeah.
Definitely good. Yeah, definitely gonna do that.
You can go first, Wes.
Um, this is. I've never been so let down. Excuse me, by a hate watch. Anyone who knows me knows that I cannot stand either one of these franchises.
Nope.
But I hate the. I think right now, overall, I hate the Lakers more. Right. I really, 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 really wanted the Lakers to win this series because I have such a strong disdain for the Houston Rockets outside of Ime and Kevin Durant. I don't
Yeah.
like any of their players outside anybody over there. Shout out to Royal Ivy though, like he a real one too. But their fan base is so disgusting. Um, everything is so bad, but I gotta choose the Rockets in 5, man. It is what it is, bro. Like, unfair to Bron. Kinda feel bad for him. Kinda don't care. He's a sucker. So it is what it is. But yeah,
Who's the
man,
sucker? I'm
just
sorry.
LeBron James.
Why is that?
LeBron James. I don't have time to get into it. I got a heart out. But yeah,
Hmm.
man. Salute to the Rockets.
Just throwing
Um,
allegations out with no
no, that's not an
substance.
allegation.
I don't
That's an
think it's an
opinion on.
allegation.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's my opinion on
there's some things I could say
it.
too.
Yeah, I would never throw allegations. I'm not Penn.
Oh,
We ain't
we
got to get
hating on
into that.
successful black men today. That's what
Um,
we're doing. I didn't.
again, I
I,
just
I'm ha-
told you I'm
I'm
not
hating on
Penn,
some
but
successful black man decisions. Yeah,
yeah, but I got the Rockets in 5, man. then go get eviscerated by OKC. So, come get stumped on, you know. But that's my first round prediction.
This is a series that should be a sweep given the circumstances.
It should be.
I don't see how the Lakers can replace 55 some odd points, possibly 60, given the expectations. Uh, you know, this will be such a curious watch just to see what JJ does. Like, does he lose all of his hair by the series end? Possibly. Will he play 5 players again and just for like just pretend he
Oh
doesn't have a bench
man.
out of
Oof.
just sheer desperation? Um, I mean, it's nasty. It's unfair. It's unfortunate. I think this would have been a fun series, fully healthy. Um, I agree. Houston CTE is truly, is really only second to Minnesota's on from a team that like we actually kind of care about / have expectations of. But I think even with all of Houston CTE, this could only possibly go 6. But I'm saying 5. I'm gonna give LeBron the grace of he's got one in him. I really believe he's gonna have one game in him, and I think Houston's gonna, just falter in a fourth quarter or two. But the Lakers just don't have enough. They just don't have enough, and I think they're also building some momentum to close the season. They're starting to figure out what to do, and even when things get nasty, I just don't think LA can pull out in front to make Houston get scared. I think it's just going to be a mud bath for most of it, and they're going to figure out how to, Houston loves that game. So I think Houston got it in 5, and we gonna figure out what the heck they're gonna do for the Lakers in the offseason.
Whew, this is gonna be a very fun series to watch. I know West has a hard out, so I definitely want to get to the most exciting round in the Western Conference: the Nuggets versus Timberwolves, the rematch. Right, the rematch. I went to a game of theirs the last time they played. Super fun basketball. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Minnesota got their ass beat pretty bad. Here's my thing, though. Right, I don't know if I feel the same way I felt about Minnesota back then as I do now. Because Minnesota has been way more prone to CTE basketball a lot more this time around. I think the spacing in Denver is a lot better than it was in that series as well. I think losing Nikhil as another defensive option is going to hurt. And I think the Julius Randle component of it compared to Cat in terms of how Cat did, I think matchup, I think versus Jokic is a thing. I just like Denver's process a bit more. I think Jamal Murray has had his best overall season. I think he should be pretty productive as well. I think it's going to come down to how they manage the non-Gobert minutes because they're going to have to try to see what it looks like at times with Naz Reid and Julius Randle. And I'm just not high on that team defensively versus the Nuggets. But to that same degree, I need the Nuggets defense to show up. So I'm leaning Denver right now, but it's a definitely, I would say, up or down series. And could have a all-time playoff series in this first round, though. I will say that.
Well, it depends on if he's healthy.
That too.
That's kind of what he's obviously dealing with some discomfort in his knee, and that needs to be said on record on multiple platforms, so we all like acknowledge that Anthony Edwards is playing with an injury right now. Just
Mm-hmm.
to be, accurate in the depiction of this series. However, if Ant is able to play at Ant levels, I'm picking the Timberwolves. I think people are very much sleep on this team. I've been high on this team all year. I really have. They've been a top 10 offense and defense the entirety of the season. I love the acquisition of Desumu. He's been fantastic as a wolf.
True.
And I think that the shortening of rosters is just going to benefit, or like rotations rather, it's just going to benefit Minnesota. Um, Teams are going to be playing 7, 8 guys, maybe 9, maybe if you're lucky. And I think that just bodes well for Minnesota. They're going to play their guys. Um, I just like they to me embody what is good in modern day basketball. They have elite rim protection. They check that box with Rudy Gobert. They have a top 10 player in the world. They check that box in Anthony Edwards. They have multiple people that can defend on the perimeter. They check that box. They are a high physicality team. They check that box. They can hit threes. Like I know their attention to detail and all of that wanes. I know their energy and effort wanes in the regular season. I definitely get that. But they are a good team built for modern day basketball. They've been that now for a handful of seasons. And I think people need to start waking up to this team in these matchups and just kind of assuming that these other teams are just going to beat them. Just I don't know. We've been doing it now for 2 seasons. I don't know. So I'm going to pick Minnesota, but again, that is going to be relying on the health of Anthony Edwards. I also think to give this point, like that Denver not being good defensively thing isn't like made up. Like they are truly not a good defensive
Yeah.
team. They have weak points in Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Um, it's basically load up strong. And I hate the way that they have to guard Ant. If you watch the Timberwolves Nuggets matchups, particularly this last one, they have to double Ant and trap him 35, 40 feet away from the basket. Like, you're already not a great defensive team as it is. That's not going to bode well for you. That's actually why I like, or they even find success going to the non Rudy Gobert minutes, particularly in this matchup, because I mean, Gobert's not really stopping Nikola Jokic anyway, but to capitalize on those 4-on-3s that Ant provides in this matchup, they put the better offensive players out there and they execute on those. When they get the 4-on-3 and he hits the short roll and now the
Yeah.
kick is to Nas Reed in the corner for a wide open three rather than Rudy Gobert who's gonna, drop the lob pass. They actually get to pay off the advantage that Anthony Edwards creates. So I think this is a more interesting and compelling matchup than some people are giving credit. I'm going Minnesota in 7.
Okay.
Yeah, got Denver in 5. I think they beat the shit out of the Wolves this year. I think injured Ant, Randall, second best player as opposed to Cat. I think Finch has gotten worse, even though I didn't really think that was possible. But I think he's got worse. Um, and Denver can shoot. I'm so glad Gifted said that. I think the biggest difference now in their first match, and Denver has better wings than they had in their first matchup or their second matchup. First matchup, Ants Young, team's not ready, losing 5. Second matchup, um, Wolves are ready, and I think Denver had taken a step back. I think Denver's taken another step forward, have more size, and I think they can just rely on more people knocking down jumpers. And yeah, I'm gonna side with also the get back part of this. I would be
Okay.
shocked if Denver doesn't play this series like it means something to them. Like, teams Denver typically is a team that kind of goes through the motions a lot of times. And they just are great or really good. So they get through it, but they don't seem to have a whole lot of fervor and fight sometimes. I think they go balls to the wall. And for what it's worth, I think they have 3 of the top 4 players in the series. I think Gordon is better than Randall. I think Gordon is better than J Mac. Um, Respect to Rudy. If you want to say Rudy's better, I'm not mad at it, but I think Gordon can have better impact on both sides of the ball as opposed to just what Rudy can do defensively. So yeah, give me Denver in 5.
The reason why they get away, I feel like with guarding Denver a particular way is because the matchup of Anthony Edwards needs that means the Nuggets need to have either Christian Brown or Bruce Brown on the court. And so they're going to play off those two players. Now, if
Yep.
Christian Brown hits 43% of his threes, you know, GG's, as the young kids say. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
Bruce Brown is shooting 40 plus
Absolutely.
percent from three, GG's, as the youngins say. But if that doesn't happen, I do think stuff like that definitely throws a monkey wrench into um, how Denver plays offensively, or at least that does definitely make them an easier team to guard. Now they're still difficult with the two-man game between Jokic and Murray, but it's different from Cam Johnson being out there as opposed to Christian Brown or Bruce Brown.
Spencer Jones and P. Watt too. Like, I don't think Jones plays a whole lot of minutes, but what he provides defensively for them, you know, I think he may see the court. But salute, real talk. Not mad at anything you said.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it brief. I feel like this is probably the most entertaining series,
I think so.
first round wise for me. Because I do think this can go 7 for sure. The Wolves might be the most dangerous 6 seed we've had in recent years. I do think this is a team that does have a dark horse world where they could end up in not only the WCF, honestly the finals. I don't see that happening. I do think Denver wins this series. The Wolves offensively just give me too much to be hesitant about, too much I have to bank on that I just don't have the same confidence in. I do think there's a world Finch gets out coached this series by a
Yeah.
younger coach, which is of concern. Um, and honestly, I mean, as long as Denver doesn't get scared about blitzing Ant like from the jump, they can make this series go by quicker. I don't know that I'm there with 5. I might just be safe and say 6. Um, because I think Ant will have at minimum like 2 great games. I think 1 win, 1 loss. But that passing is just not. Minnesota doesn't have the passing for me. And unless they make like they have to make this a bloodbath. And I just don't think Denver is going to be that frazzled for it to get that shaky. I think is going to have a good series. I agree with Real Talk. Tsumu's been such a great ad for them, but I just don't see it long term. J Mac has had an amazing season. I don't know if the shooting holds up. The guy I really just don't trust. Ironically, it's not even Randall. It's Naz Reid. I think Naz Reid might actually have a pitiful end of the series, especially if it goes late. Because I think he's the odd man out. I think Minnesota's got to move off of him for their long term prospects. Personally, I don't like enough of what he brings to the table, just as a player. So. I'm gonna say Nuggets in 6. Yeah, I think they just got enough. I don't really disagree with too much with what Real Talk said. It's just Nuggets have way more bankable stuff for me personally.
Yeah. Real quick, because Wes had to bow out. Make sure to go tap in with Wes on Twitter. We will be updating our takes on these series as they progress. The one thing I didn't say enough, because like I am really trying to compare this to I think the last time they played, right? And I really feel like, as crazy as this sounds, Mike Conley being serviceable in that series to where we saw MPJ not able to exploit him enough defensively. Conley had a lot of times where he calmed down the ship. He got the ball to Ant in good spots. They don't have that point guard, and that hole has been there for the entire season. And I think that's why their CTE at times can flare up a little bit. And I just think that with the shooting and Ant's health not being all the way there. And also, I'm sorry, knowing that what I saw from Aaron Gordon in a limited sample size, of course, but seeing what he did last year, saving Nikola Jokic, saving Jamal Murray, arguably being like the best player in some of these games at the biggest moments, I just think they have more variance to win a series than Minnesota. That's why, even though I had the Wolves beating them, and it's wild because I actually said Wolves in overall 7 games last time. This time I'm saying Denver in 6 for that exact reason. So yeah. But I can't wait to see it. I think that'll be fun.
Ant though is like again if he's healthy. I have the Wolves in 7 if Ant is healthy or can
Right.
perform can
Yeah,
be.
that's fine. If
Yeah,
Ant's
yeah.
not
But
can't go, it is what it
Right.
is. It's brutal.
and like I get your point about Mike Conley, but Ant's also like a better player right now than he was in 2024. And so although
Sure.
I think like Mike Conley had some, you know, positives in that series, I think the best player getting better usurps the missing of Mike Conley and what he was providing in 2024, in my opinion, and also I think Io DeSumo too. But
Yeah. Fair. Fair. There is a series that I did not see until just now that has an argument to be more intriguing, or maybe it doesn't. Hawks Knicks. Anyone, or like, is it just
That's fun.
100% sure New York? Like, I don't
That's
know.
funny. Yeah, that's not my pick from possibly more interesting. Uh, just because, yeah, I'm banking on New York. Like if New York doesn't clean this up
Oh
in
man,
5,
blow it up.
I don't want to hear a New York fan there. Like, don't talk about your chances, man. If you don't clean up Atlanta in 5, this is
What?
not a team that's organized enough. They don't. No, come on.
All right, now listen, Derek. Listen, Derek. Right. I hear all that. Right now, listen, Derek. What if this is Nickeil Alexander Walker's series to where he taps into that Alexander Walker bag and like really makes his name like it really, really, I'm the best player on this team. I'm just
Then the
throwing it
Knicks
out
got
there.
to start wearing black and silver and call themselves Brooklyn. I mean,
Oh
they
wow.
are the most equipped for Atlanta. This is their series. Like Atlanta's got some defenders, but like Cat should be fine. Against a Kongwu, honestly. Like they don't have Atlanta doesn't
Yeah,
really have the size. Jock Landale is gonna get minutes this series. Cat should blow by him. Like OG and McHale should be enough to bother a Jalen Johnson and a Walker on the perimeter.
absolutely.
Like the Knicks they have this. They have this in the bag.
It should be New York to me too.
Like
But
this is a dream first round for New York. I That's what it should be. If it's not, I can't wait to be on Fraud Watch. It'll be great.
oh
But
man.
no, this is New York in 5. I think pretty comfortably.
yeah, I think I'm with y'all. I think New York should win this
Okay.
convincingly. They shouldn't really be too much of a series.
Yeah, the one that I think could get nasty is Cleveland,
And
man.
Raptor. Oh yeah. True.
That's where like it scares me because I was high on Cleveland at the start of the season. I think I love their
Most
team
good Nims.
construction on paper, but they just keep finding ways to play down to competition. Um, and I think Toronto, for all their flaws, and I think it's a team we collectively maybe haven't taken that seriously. I know I haven't taken that seriously over the course of the season. I don't know. They could make it ugly, and if they make it ugly, that scares me a little bit. Cleveland's walking in with very comfortably the best player in the series, and possibly the second best player in the series. Um, I only say possibly because of like health. Uh, like I don't know if Harden can go and is good, and D Mitch does D Mitch things. It should be Cleveland like kind of going away. But for some reason, I just get a bad feeling about this that Toronto is going to make this very ugly.
Oh.
I think they're gonna muck it up. They're gonna make it ugly, but it's gonna be like an ugly 5 games. Like I do think it's gonna be like, oh my goodness, there are gonna be some scares because I think Toronto will at in multiple different points of the games like string together stops consistently. Um, I just think that their offense is going to fail them.
Sure.
Um, so I think they're going to be able to keep games close. I think we're going to be going into the clutch a lot of these games in the series, like the definition of 5 minutes left within 5 points and whatnot. But I just think Cleveland will be able to generate better and execute offensively down the stretch of those games because I just think they have more firepower than the than the Raptors, but I do think the games will be close and competitive.
See, this series is so funny to me, right? Because the thing that's gotten Cleveland before in the past has been physical teams imposing their will physically on them, and normally frail Garland can really do much. Frail, I would say Jared Allen would just straight up disappear in the entire series. And now they're going up against easily one of the more physical teams in the league with size. Project 6'8", 6'9", all the way through and through. And Barnes, obviously has been a DPOY candidate. I think the offense in terms of what they can generate is huge. I think this is why getting a Dennis Schroeder, getting a Mr. Keon Ellis off of your bench is for series like these where you can just have more depth to help you out in those moments. I'm gonna say this though. What I see happening is I think the Cavs win, but they're so beaten up by this series they don't win the next round. I think that's what happens to the Cavs. And
that's what scares me.
Well, I mean, who would they be playing next round if they got through them?
I'm the winner of Detroit and then whoever is out the play-in.
Oh, they're gonna play the winner of Detroit.
Yeah.
So Detroit.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean,
yeah.
they're gonna lose to Detroit anyway, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they present that problem, that physicality problem, while just being a better team. Like, I just think the Raptors just aren't good. Like, they do some things well. They're just not that good. And I also don't think Scotty Barnes as an offensive talent is that good either. That's
is that great either?
They're another version of like Orlando to me. Like, get some
but this could be the Brandon Ingram series though. This could be the Brandon Ingram series though, to be fair to him. It's been a while since we've seen Suns Ingram, of course, but I mean, he can eat it in this series. It's possible.
I mean, I wouldn't put any money on it, but I mean, I hear you.
I hear you.
That's the thing. I feel like the Cavs have to win. It's just, I think it's gonna get scary. I think if you told me this series went 7,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I've just got a feeling like it's gonna be competitive for all the wrong reasons for Cleveland, because they keep disappointing me. I keep thinking this should be a team that should be in the ECF, because I really do think a Cleveland-Detroit matchup is not so like cut and dry. I think the Cavs on paper have an offense that can at least outlast Detroit in that series. But for some reason, I know I'm not going to feel confident, because I just feel like this Toronto series is going to be just so foul. And I do think it's going to be some just like every game is going to have a nasty shot that a Toronto player makes. That's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. That's like a death blow to Cleveland right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I fully agree. I don't take Toronto that seriously as a contender, but it's just like this is for some reason a good matchup for them.
This is a very zoomed out aesthetic, but I just find it so comical how Boston and OKC have the clear best runs to a conference finals in both conferences. Like, that's really crazy to me. So like, I'm really finding it hard to not say that's not my finals right now. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Just like, I don't want Boston to succeed again. It's foul, because I think Boston's gonna make an addition this offseason that I think is gonna make it like close the door for every other Eastern team.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
I feel like Brad Stevens is cooking. I think they've loaded up on assets. They know they're gonna like. I don't know. It feels gross. It feels like it's gonna become a dynasty in the East right now.
Do I have that as the final? Boston has forced me on the bandwagon at this point. Every step of the way, the doubt that I had for them just got removed. Oh, they're kind of a fool's gold team. They're not that good, and they win the amount of games. And then it's like, oh, well, even if Jason Tatum comes back, Jason Tatum won't be the level of player that they need.
And he start fucking going stupid when he
come
back.
Last 5 games, he's averaging like 26, 11, and 8. So I'm like, I guess, bro. I guess y'all are just the best
Didn't you
team
have
in the East.
Did you have like a Cleveland pick
I
or
had the
something? Real
Knicks.
talk.
No, I
The
had the Knicks
Knicks.
for the
The Knicks.
Oh
longest.
yeah, the
That's
I
right.
Knicks
had the
was your
Knicks for the
team.
longest.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
right.
But
right.
I think now, that series would be fun. That series would be fun.
It would be for
I
a
would
rematch.
enjoy watching that series. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing that the Knicks do, and we'll see if other teams do it, but like they kind of live with the Celtics version of mismatch hunting and be like, hey, Jalen Brunson get a stop on Tatum, and it's like he be getting
In
stops.
the
Like I
past,
don't.
yeah.
They even in just like this past recent game, I know Jalen Brown didn't play, but there were times in that fourth quarter where of course, the bread and butter Derek White has the ball, brings the ball up. Tatum
Yep.
comes to set the screen in the middle of the 3-point line or whatever. He sets such a good screen. He gets the switch. He then kind of posts up from the 3-point line on Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brunson gets consecutive stops on Jason Tatum. That's how they
Yeah.
beat them in the playoffs last year. They asked Jalen Brunson and Cat and all these players one on one, hey, get some stops. We're not going to run these coverages that kind of inherently put our defense in a compromising position. We're going to switch and live with them trying to beat us over the top. If you make them take a contested jumper, I feel like you've won with both of the Celtics best players, which kind of is a concern of mine about them. Is like both aren't the greatest over the top shot making players in the league. Like Jalen Brunson is, I mean, not Jalen, but Jalen Brown is probably better than that. Not probably, he is better than that, especially in the mid range. But like, Tatum a lot of time is selling for a step back three, and it's like, yeah, he'll make that shot sometimes, but like regularly, not really.
Hmm.
Not the greatest pull up mid range shooter either. So it's like kind of live with the results with them.
So I don't know if I've said this publicly before, but this is how I felt about Boston for the longest time now, right? When they lose in 2022 to Golden State, beyond them having a great defense, their problem is offensively, they settle for the mismatch. They kept saying, find Steph, find Steph, find Steph, and they hijacked their own offense in that way. Ever since I think the Missoula way of thinking took over, they're a chat GPT offense where we're going to take a shit ton of threes. We're going to shoot way more than you, and we're going to have higher quality. And versus the Knicks last year, that did not work for them, primarily because Tatum and Brown shit the bed terribly in the first two games. And as a team, right, as a team, they shot 25 for 100 from three in two games. That was the formula to how they lost. What I would argue is that they had many players who were viable for them break down in the middle of that series. And as a team, I would actually argue they have better shooters overall this year than they did last year. And like, if you're telling me that how the Knicks beat them is they're just gonna allow them to just say, you know what, cool. I don't know if you survive death by Boston threes 2 years back to back consecutively. I also think that this is gonna be the series where the cat shit that I've been saying the entire year has not looked great, where they just have not really involved him in the offense, where he'll take 6 shots, but Josh Hart has 12. Maybe Mikal Bridges has not. Like, Cat's going to have to be way more involved in any of this playoff simulation for me to beat this team. And I think Kate has been really improved as a front court option as a big. So that, I think, paired with specifically how Tatum has looked, because I didn't care too much about how badly Tatum shot. I looked at, can he still blow by people? Can he still get to the rim? And he's been doing that on top of still being a fantastic rebounder, and his defense has still been great. So to me, it's like, if you have that with the shooting that you have, I think you're going to be a better team than that other team in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just oh no, go ahead, Darren.
I would just to put a pin on like the Boston thing. I do think Boston was a worse team last year for a couple different reasons, like construction wise. I do think they reworked their sets way better. I think the ISO hunting you're speaking of, gifted of we're going to spend 16 seconds looking for the matchup we want to not give our guy enough time to actually operate has changed.
Yeah.
And I think as far as like the Cat matchup with the Knicks, it's like I like Mike Brown's idea of making Cat like that passing hub, Sabonis-esque, because it puts Cat in a position where he can still succeed theoretically while also creating like some more motion in the Knicks offense, which can get stale, especially if Brunson doesn't have it going. The problem is I feel like it's putting a lot more pressure on Cat in that series to make the right decision every time, which I think is just something that Cat has had struggles with throughout his career of like, okay, this is the opportunity, I got to go. Or, okay, I can, I'm at the top of the key, I'm going to work my way down, look for a better option, create a shot. I think Cat can make the easy passes. I have distrust or disbelief that he can do the hard reads that Boston's going to make him do. So that's why it's just an ugly series. I did want to cover Wes's predictions as well because we really weren't supposed to just talk about the first round. We talked about Houston. Wes did have them in 5. I think we kind of like unanimous as far as that. I mean, do we want to talk about like the OKC and San Antonio situation because we don't know who's coming out of the plan? Like, Wes had OKC in 5, San Antonio in 6. I kind of agree.
I have them beating whoever comes out.
Of matchups.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about that, real talk, but that's kind of where I'm at too.
OKC should be sweeping until they get to the conference finals. That's what they should do. You know what I'm saying? If Shea is who they say he is, then they should be sweeping until they get to the conference finals. Because the possibility is who, like the Trailblazers or the Clippers. I mean, I guess, bro. Yeah, sweep them. Yeah, they should be sweeping. They're healthy. Yeah, this is going to be, I think, damn near their first playoff run where everybody's kind of whole, I guess. AJ Mitchell is ready.
How is J-Dub, by the way?
J-Dub has been good. He's been fine since the second time him coming back. No,
he's gonna have really fresh legs,
Yeah,
that's
so
what I mean.
they should be.
Yeah.
Has he built like that momentum? I actually haven't watched OKC like the past like 2-3 weeks.
I mean,
so
it's just
like
them beating everybody. It's nothing to me.
That's what I mean. I admittedly haven't tuned in for that. Yeah.
I mean, but like that's what OKC historically, and granted, we don't have such a big sample, but that's what they use their first rounds for. Like, I'm pretty sure Shea is gonna coast or whatever, and J-Dub and Chet build up chemistry, rhythm, all that stuff, and then it comes more to like a full, I would say, picture in like the second round or in the third round, So, yeah.
People really just be letting Shea slide on with that first round shit.
To
the victor goes the spoils, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, for me, I don't put a whole lot of stock on first round series for your statistics. It comes to me, especially if you're a ball handler, I care about your turnovers. Obviously, if I'm, watching, like your processing, and really just like, how are you moving wise? If you're doing those things, I don't really care if you're not. Like, Shea shouldn't have to average 30 in a first round series, and he can be slow because that is the series. If you're going to have one, to let your teammates build up, get physically and off of confidence. Because when the going gets tough, we know OKC just turns to Shea pretty quickly, and it's in their best interest to not turn to Shea immediately.
And man, make sure to like the stream, chat, like the stream.
If a player is like, almost lackadaisical in the first round, if they're fortunate enough to do that, and OKC is definitely fortunate enough team-wise to do that. So,
I mean, I think you can get your teammates going and not get clamped by Scottie Pippen Jr. I think there's a
not yet.
It is what it
is.
Nah.
Sure. Now, I guess real talk, I'll say this. Us as like deep watchers of basketball will acknowledge how Shea played in the first round, but I think we know we want to see how he plays when there's better teams that can actually like compete with you. And to be fair, like we're not going to really see that I think, through the first 2 rounds, regardless of who comes out. It's really going to be who comes out in that last round in the finals. And I hate to dumb it down to that because I promise you a run is more than just 1 round or 2 rounds, but how you compete when there's actual adversity is what we really remember. And that's just what it is with Shea. Because they beat everyone in the first round, I think, 4 games. Like, bro, Shea could average what? 27, 28, or maybe 47% from the field or whatever it is, maybe 35% from three. And it's like, if they're dominating them and these games are not even close, am I going to tax them for that? Maybe, but I have to see exactly how the full run looks. I don't know.
I mean, if they want us to still give him credit as when they blow teams out, then the flip side of that is that he still has to get criticism if he doesn't play to
Oh,
his
yeah.
standard when they blow teams out. And that's just kind of the equaling of that. But people won't. They'll just say he's still better than Kobe. Is what it is.
Oh,
Is what it is. Last year's playoff run was neutral league efficiency, by the way. Um,
mhm.
just one of actually statistically speaking, has to be one of some of the biggest dropping we've seen. But again, nobody's gonna say anything because they won the championship, so it is what it is. Went 7 games with the Indiana Pacers, out there getting clamped by Andrew Nimhard, stuff like that. But salute to him.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this much right now. We're gonna measure his performance. I will say it on record right now. I don't think Shea is going to perform at the ridiculous level he's done all regular season in the playoffs. I don't think so. I think he'll still be good. I think he'll still be really fantastic in those spots, but I just don't think he's going to be able to sustain that level in the playoffs. If he does that, I think that's a whole other conversation we entertain. But the problem with Shea is I think he's kind of in a lose-lose because are we going to really give him a lot of praise if he's flat out dominant and these are the first 2 teams he's playing? Like sure, that's great, but like how you perform at the biggest of stages, I think when like they actually need you to step up and perform, a lot of people are going to more so highlight. I think the bigger picture is something I'm super interested in for Shea, but hopefully he can beat his first round demons, because I will say this, in the first round, Shea don't be looking like Shea like that. So I mean, fair. Honestly.
I'm just looking for fuck +8. Can we just get +1? I mean, that would be great. That would be fantastic.
That'd be good.
I'm not
That'd be
asking for
good.
too
Yeah.
much. I'm not asking for too much before we start just passing up Kobe Bryant. That would be, you know.
By the way, I want to clarify something because I've seen people just lie. I never said Shea was better than Kobe. I don't know where people are getting that from. I don't know if they are like trying to think that I'm Penn or like some other players on the Penn. I never said that. I'm just here to watch basketball. I love the sport, so I'm gonna see how he plays. But that's fair. If you're gonna put Shea in these types of conversations, breaking down how he's actually performing in the playoffs as a totality does start to matter. I will say that because it was kind of disgusting how versus Denver, even though Shea did turn up his game, he was struggling to beat his zone at times.
I'm going
Fair.
to be very interested in seeing how Nikola Jokic and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander perform in these playoffs because
Mm.
um, if it goes similarly to last season, then the point and agenda that I will be driving home for the off season is how much stock are we truly putting into these regular seasons and their statistics? Because if it's going to be that drastic again, if Nikola Jokic is going to be that much worse of an offensive player again, and he's supposed to be the greatest offensive player ever, and his counterparts in that situation got better in the playoffs, it didn't get worse. And Shea goes from, oh my God, he's Steph Curry efficiently to, oh my goodness, we're praying for Monte Ellis efficiency.
Oh
Then
man.
I think some discussions need to be had about the regular season and the offensive environment that these players truly are getting to operate in. I mean, Austin Reeves just had what season where he just averaged what 23 on 65 true shooting.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, I'm just saying. What would 03 Kobe do if he was playing right now? I don't know. You tell me.
This is a master class in tone from Real Talk. That's how you do that.
I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Not like for me, I don't want that. Real talk, to your point. I don't really want that situation. The last thing this sport needs is less caring about the regular season from any party.
Agreed.
Mm.
I agree with that.
Like, as content creators, y'all have jobs, man. Like, if the trend were to follow, because honestly, we're in a bad place with Silver at the helm. We don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but like, I don't want the perception, which I think the media to a degree is already there, of regular season really doesn't matter. You could really just take like 2 weeks off a month and then come back and, nothing's changed. I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now, which is a scary place to be in, because I do feel like many fans feel like the playoffs and the regular season are two different brands of the same
Yeah.
sport.
Absolutely.
It's like it's no longer just it's more competitive. Guys are trying, which has always been a thing, like always been a concern. I think it's really like, oh, it's the difference between like the Olympics or Euro basketball versus the NBA. Like I think they really look at it like it's two different sports, which is concerning, because I think there's avenues to enjoy both sides where like, yeah, the regular season you can definitely get off some crazy offensive games way more often. And that should be harder to do in the playoffs. And I think the playoffs are better for it. But that doesn't always mean it's going to be the most entertaining, because sometimes you get mud hoops in the playoffs. And like, that's not always the most fun to watch, especially in early series where the stakes aren't necessarily the same. So I hope for that reason you're not right. Because I do think if Jokic has an ugly efficiency series, it's going to come up. If Shea can sleepwalk through the first two rounds, that's going to come up. And I think it's already going to happen. I think in the second round when Wemby looks human, that's going to come up. And I think the NBA is going to be terrified, because like we've already said, Wemby, they want to anoint as like the next all-time great player. They want a mantle so desperately from LeBron to pass. And I feel like they're going to get so scared if people like don't have amazing series. You know what I mean? If the eyes aren't on. So I hope we get something, but I do feel like people need to understand the sport just does change in so many facets still in the playoffs. But that's always kind of been the
I
case.
think like that discrepancy to me, as far as like growing up watching the NBA, I do think we're at a point to where it is the biggest it's been, in my opinion. Like as far as the version of basketball I'm watching in the regular season and the version of basketball I'm watching in the playoffs, I do think that disparity is wider than it's been in my growing up, because I grew up 2000s is kind of where my childhood, 2010s I'm like more so um in like high school and college, like d- I think right now we are in the biggest discrepancy that I've seen personally.
I think what I would say in terms of the regular season mattering or not, is that these playoffs should be a prime example that it does, because if the Spurs locked the fuck in and won, they would only have to play one of Denver or OKC. Not have to play both. Like your path to the finals, to where we praise you, really dictates how far you go. And we know styles make fights. We know that, sure, on paper, last year, OKC was a better roster than Denver. But in the series, it did go 7 games, right? Like they did have a chance of losing that. Shea did look more human in that overall playoff series. Like those things happen, which is why the teams that win often are 1 through 3, because you play weaker talent. and you make your way through. Now, obviously, every run's different. It doesn't always play out like that in terms of, I would say, your seed. But normally, if you're a worse team, you are what your record says you are. And that's why the regular season does matter. Because, I think a huge prime example, Denver losing to the Spurs put them in a position where they had to play against the Wolves. And the Wolves beat them in 7 games. I can argue if they didn't have to play the Wolves there, they might have made it to another conference finals maybe, right? Like, I don't know. Those are the moments that really swing things.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the regular season stuff, though, like for the Spurs, for example, I think that's going to get forgotten pretty quickly. The only reason that would come up again is if for some reason they lost in the first round, and then people would cite that. But
Well, you
I
lose the
feel like
first
that
round,
conversation doesn't really happen. I feel like the thing that's going to dominate is how well they perform in the second round.
Yeah, sure.
And I think they've got the caveat. Like, I think the other thing, too, is these teams being so young is also, kind of strange because to Real Talk's point, when growing up, these championship teams had several 30-year-olds on it. OKC just won the chip. I think it's the youngest team ever last year. If San Antonio, who is like an inner circle contender, were to win, they'd be the youngest team ever to win. So I think there's also that where like these teams are now building so much for the future, because they've realized like windows, you need to plan for them to be open like 3 to 5 years, knowing your best chance is getting one chip out of that whole time. Where I feel like what we came up with, it just felt different. I feel like it's star power because it was star power dictated who was even going to be relevant in the first place. And I don't know, then I feel like competition just kind of like narrowed so much faster. But yeah, it's a fair point because I do feel like we are in a weird gap where it feels like a third of the league is tanking, like openly. It doesn't feel like it's just ass, which I think is also something else. Like I think when we grew up, it felt like the teams that stunk, most of them just stunk. It weren't openly tanking, and it wasn't until the last like 10 years. Certainly, my Sixers have something to do with it, where it's like we knew we were structurally trying to be bad, and that has kind of changed things too. And then, unfortunately, the perception of players just don't want to play, which now has been popularized.
I was more so speaking about like the statistical outputs that are being put out more so than anything relative to different players. But
I mean, the game is
yeah, I
more,
mean,
like right to actually, I would say, maximize players to put up these numbers. Like I still think it's harder to put up 21 points in that era compared to now. Like there's many people now who can give you that because the league is so offensively tilted. That's why the numbers look crazy.
Yeah, skill versus style plus the rules. That's I think that's like the ultimate difficulty we're having is defenses. Every rule change is working against them, while players are continually getting more skilled. So these
it's
offensive
like a
outputs,
force multiplier. It's
right?
so
Which it should be good for the league, but optically it doesn't feel like it is because it does feel like the days of you're a 20-point per game scorer, that's cool. That's no longer like impressive to anyone anymore. Like you expect like fourth options to be that when that used to be a thing where like 2 guys did that on good teams. So yeah, it is diluting the like the actual not diluting the product. I don't think it's that bad, but I do feel like it's changing the way we look at the game, which is tough because like I think this is like a natural progression and a lot of good things, but there is something about like the Olympics and Euro basketball where offense is way more structured and slower, and it makes for sometimes a more interesting product.
Am I wrong to think that the existence of the plan was installed to lessen tanking and make it
No,
like
totally
overall more competitive? Has it done that?
I don't think it's changed our level of care. I think initially the first couple of years it did.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is like you just said at the top of this, right, Gifted, like you are almost indifferent as a fan to Golden State winning or losing.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's almost a part where like organizationally it might be better for them to lose. That sucks because the incentive should be we win, we get a playoff series. That's cool for the fans. That's also supposed to be good for the budget. But the fact that like a first round series might not actually even matter that much, that's concerning.
Well, it's that, but it's also like I think the whole idea that Golden State specifically was locked into the 10th seed where they couldn't move. So them winning or losing literally did not matter at all. Like there was no like it didn't change anything because they were going to the play-in, right? Compared to top 8, you have to be the 8th seed if you want to make the playoffs. Like I enjoy the play-in, I do, but like the goal of it to lessen tanking overall efforts and make the game more fun and watchable. I would argue some teams are tanking even earlier now.
Yeah, I think we're at a stage where the first 30 games for teams is the benchmark. And it sucks because you also have all the injury stuff that we're dealing with right now is also exacerbating that problem. If you lose a top 2 guy on your team within the first 30 games and you have your pick, you are full steam ahead lottery.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be crazy not to. That's the problem. Like the Celtics would have been that had Jaylen Brown, the Celtics, and the team not been better than expected.
And to be
they
fair,
would have been full steam lottery.
They struggled out the gate too, and they just said we're going to keep playing, and they won a whole bunch of games after that. So fair.
I think that was their turnaround to like decency and like oh we can actually do something in the East was like 15 games through. Maybe 20. Like they knew quickly. The other problem too is like every coaching staff and team knows going into a season, oh, we're ass. Or like, oh, we're good. We have a chance. Which has always been the case.
I agree.
But now we're not faking it till we make it. Like there's organizational incentives and players can still get their money. So like it's not 60 games in, oh, we stink. Okay, we'll catch you in the lottery. It's oh, we stink. I'm a chill. Like I'm a chill for 2/3 of the season. Or I get that surgery that I've been putting off. That's another thing too.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Like,
about that.
And now the organization is down with it because they know like we can make the money work. We're still cool. Let's play for the future. You know what? Triple J, yeah, go get that cleanup surgery you would have put off.
But the Jazz really did that shit with a lot of people in their roster.
Everyone suddenly was like, "Oh, congratulations, we got this great doctor for you." Like, but I missed 2 months. Perfect. Perfect.
Right. Yeah. No.
Fair. Enjoy your time. Yeah. So it's a tough recipe because it makes a lot of sense for players and organization. I'd argue it's almost friendlier for them, but it's not good for us as viewers, which is tough.
Yeah, man. Them niggas was winning 60 games because expansion teams were in the league. They had seasons in which, the Bulls made the playoffs that year. What were they? It was against Boston. Won like 30 something games that season or something. Made the playoffs.
Woo.
Like
man.
The NBA for a while now has had issues with competitive balance, if so to speak. This isn't anything new. When you have multiple 60-win teams, that probably means there's some terrible teams in the league. I mean, it just quite naturally that's how that works. So
yeah. I think the last thing I want to ask y'all before we bounce, and again, great overall conversation as always, y'all. For real, I'm mad that our guy Wes can be here for the last part of this. I feel like 3 to 4 years ago, Derek, I could have told you players that had the most pressure on them to win. And maybe I'm being soft, I don't know, but like who's under a lot of pressure this year to like win? Like, oh, it'll meaningfully change your entire career and how you're looked at if you win this year.
It's a tough one. Shout out to Chad for the topic. I feel like that's also something we're kind of working against. I'd argue it's tougher to frame those narratives, at least for me this year, because I feel so confident. I know the matchup, so it makes it tougher, which is terrible thing to say. I mean, as far as players, I do think they have pressure to win, and I think we'll be put in situations. Um, yeah, shout out to D Wright in chat. I think the Cleveland, I think Harden and D Mitch are two great names for if you can make an ECF run, let alone a finals run, that's doing wonders for you.
But
That
see,
would be
is it
huge.
though? Is it
Absolutely.
really though? Like if Harden and them, right? If they go to the conference finals and they lose, is anyone saying, "Oh, good stuff, you made the conference finals like that"? Like I don't think so anymore.
I mean, I feel like it would, especially if it's the Celtics who could then potentially be putting together like this dynasty run, of being
Okay.
this like royalty in this era. Let alone, I feel like it also would do more if the Celtics were to win the chip, which is also something else that like I think is got some potential. I don't think OKC is a cakewalk in the finals. Um, they certainly didn't last year, so I feel like that would still do a big deal. Obviously, a finals appearance is the thing that like really changes things. But legacy wise, a lot of these guys and teams are young, so like that's
Yeah.
why it doesn't feel like it's changed. Like Wemby, I've told you both. I'm resigned to they're out in the second round. This is doing nothing. Like legacy wise, this is congratulations. You're here. This is your moment. Have some fun. Next 2 years are where you take it up a notch and actually try. And we have those expectations.
Right.
But like KD, I'm resigned to the idea that Houston's getting absolutely swamped in the second round. So like a run for him just doesn't. I feel like that would do something. I said I think at the top of preseason, like a Western Conference Finals runs for Houston. To me, that does something for KD. I think that he'd actually look a little vindicated, um, and I think would help clean up the mess of the last 3-4 years of
Okay.
post Golden State. But otherwise, like I don't know. But any names for y'all?
Um, I mean, for me, as far as like who has the most pressure to win, it's always the people that are competing for titles
Yeah.
and favorites. Like I think favorites kind of inherently have the most pressure on them. So I think like
Sure.
there's a lot of pressure on SGA to win another championship. Everybody assumes that OKC has the best roster, they have the best team, they should win the championship. And when your expectation is you should win the championship, that is a lot of pressure.
Totally.
Um,
Yeah.
and then I think there's a lot of pressure for Nikola Jokic in this playoff run because if he doesn't perform extraordinarily well, because we already kind of are baking in that he's not going to win, I think moving forward, if you really like get into what all goes into being considered the best player in the world, it's not just play, but some of the narrative needs to be going in your direction. And I think potentially, if he doesn't play well in this playoff run, and SGA like goes on, plays well, and wins another ring, I think we'll be looking back at potentially this was like the last year that Nikola Jokic was having real run at the best in the world title because the narrative for SGA will be so strong at this point if SGA plays well, goes back to back
Right.
MVPs, back to back chips, back to back finals MVPs. And then when you really think about it, SGA moving forward, that's going to be him competing more so with Wemby moving forward than Giannis and Nikola Jokic. They're going to be kind of seen as the guys of yesteryear as far as the narrative playing around that title as well. So I think it's if Jokic wants to still be considered like one of the ones really rivaling for best in the world, he has to perform because he's already probably not going to have the winning narrative going his direction for
Valid.
some years to come. I mean, OKC's set to be the best team in the West for some time. And then again, if not, probably San Antonio. So
And then Boston on the other side.
playing
Yeah.
well really is the only thing he has to like hang his hat on. He's now walking into his new Giannis position. His team is better than Giannis, but like Giannis post 21 hasn't been able to grasp to any winning argument. It's
Yeah.
just level of play, and eventually people wear out of that. Like it just we
Hmm.
saw it happen with Giannis in real time. So Giannis was having career years, and just nobody really gave a fuck. He's been
Yeah.
averaging 30, 12, and 6 on 65 plus true shooting, and nobody cared. It's like, yeah, we'll still regard him as one of the best, but nobody has Giannis.
As
The
the
consensus
best.
is Giannis. Giannis isn't in best of the world talks anymore by any means of the imagination. That's the trouble that Joel Embiid also had, really grasping a real chokehold on that debate, because he wasn't able to win. You know what I'm saying? So like, we'll see going forward for Nikola Jokic with that title.
I think you hit it on the head. I think the reason why for me things might not feel the same way is because you're either too young, too old, where like we already know who you are pretty much as a player, or your team just frankly isn't good enough to be in a real conversation to put pressure on you to win anything. And I do feel like with the emergence of talent with the Spurs plus also OKC, Denver is slowly but surely like declining to that level where, yeah, great player Jokic, but I don't expect you to win. And at a certain point, if you're not in those talks to really win a title, but there's guys who are almost just as good as you actually winning, actually going, I think, farther. You entertain those convos with those guys more than this guy. Giannis is a good example. I think what hurt him more is that his roster sucked, number one for sure, but also his injuries impacting how available he is to play makes him so forgettable. Like this season, he was amazing when he played, and then he got hurt, and then now it's like we don't talk about Giannis anymore, right? Like I think most people refuse to talk about Giannis while he's a Buck. I think the minute he gets traded to like a team that can actually do some shit with some talent, all this and
Yeah,
all
if he
that,
plays the
yeah,
same exact way on a championship caliber team,
it'd
he
be
will be
way different,
thrusted
bro.
back into best in the world conversations. But he's been this level of player for like 4 consecutive years, and I've been
Yeah,
trying to scream to somebody from my mountaintop, but nobody's listening. So it is what it is.
I mean,
you
I'm
know,
trying to think like I do think there's a couple of individual player narratives to get off in a run. I think the problem is we're just looking at teams, and
yeah.
it's weird because do you feel like Tatum and or Brown have had legacy talks at all? Have we
Honestly,
done those?
no, I don't really think so.
No, not really.
Don't we see them both as like too young to be doing that, I guess? I feel like I'm subconsciously doing that, but
I just don't think they're good enough to really have like a real big enough conversation because it's like no one is going to tell you Jason Tatum is better than Shea, Luca, Wemby. Although to be fair, the Shea Tatum stuff was a convo for some people, but like what I'm saying,
yeah.
realistically, is not. I don't know.
That's why I feel like it's tough because you could say like Boston being just so damn competitive for so long is a thing, but it's also kind of like making us numb to it. That's why I feel like it's difficult because I feel like if an Eastern team comes out, and obviously they're probably going to be underdogs against OKC kind of regardless, that's their opportunity to kind of make a name. But I feel like it's not an individual player. Like for the Pistons to come out, even though Cade is clearly the best player slash offensive player, I feel like it's going to be the team talk. Like it's the defense. It's
Yeah,
like it's the rebounding. It's the energy. It's Detroit's back on the map. Boston, I feel like it's going to be the combo of things. Oh, it's the threes. It's this crazy offense. It's this D White is for some reason like blocking at the rim. Like it's everyone's got a team thing. New York is just going to be, oh, it's the 90s again, which is hilarious. Like it's going to be not what they're doing. It's going to be, oh, it's Cat is Ewing and Brunson is Starks. Like it's going to be that. In the West, I feel like it's more individualized. I think it'd be a KD talking point for the Rockets' success. It would be an Ant talking point for the Wolves' success. Um, and as far as the Nuggets, which we're not really picking them over OKC. I think if Jokic wins a chip, then now what we once deemed nasty center talk does have to change. Like, he is now going to firmly enter the convos of, I am with every center now, which I don't know that we all agree with, but like, that is going to be it. It is going to be it's
So
real talk's got him.
yeah.
He will never be as good as this
Okay,
man at
but
the sport of basketball.
okay,
Ever.
okay. So
that's the combo.
I do want to ask you
what will
though,
happen.
right? So
Well, I won't be happy there.
no,
I hear you, but you will be participating in them.
Yes,
You may not initiate, but you will be a part of them.
And like, I think the critical part that like I have to bring up here is gonna sound nasty as shit, but Jokic winning a ring this year based on path, is that not the 95 Akeem story? Like, you playing comp at every single step all the way to the finals and you're winning it? Well,
it's the Dirk story, because like that's the thing. What Olajuwon will always have over Jokic is the defense.
Always,
that's the thing. Like,
being arguably the greatest ever, you know.
I'm not saying that's not deserved. I love the Dream.
I love
my favorite
Akeem.
90s player.
Yeah.
I love him, but I'm saying like the success, the narrative, etc. Like, that's all going to be there, and that's what's going to enter. Like, people can still kind of entertain like Moses and the Wilt and Russell situation, you know, with Jokic. And then like Kareem is kind of like not touchable. Shaq's almost not really touchable. Like, that would change. I don't know how I would feel about that, but I have to see it first. But like, if that were to happen, I feel like that's the biggest change. I feel like that's the problem. It's just like, if KD goes on an insane run with the Rockets, that'll have to change some things. I feel that's the next thing.
I
but
disagree with you as far
tough.
as the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown component, particularly this year. Like, if they win a championship with this roster, I think the conversation around them definitely shifts.
Okay.
Because it would just have to, because that would mean that we have been kind of like wildly underrating these two players. And it'll damn near have to change up how we have basketball discourse if those two win a championship. Like, are either one of these two players the offensive player that you would like them to be? Probably not. But when you look at like a Jason Tatum, like this player that is, like, we call him the role player superstar, is like a knock, but like, it is highly beneficial to a team when their superstar also does and is good at role player things.
Everything.
Like, that's not a knock. That's
right.
As low-key, like, we're
A pro.
giving him a compliment without really like knowing, or per se, like, the fact that Jason Tatum he's good at so many different things. He can pass, he can play make, he can score. He's a great rebounder. He's a really good defensive player. He can guard the ball. He's good as a low man. He can guard other people's fives and take away their pick and roll act. Like, the versatility that those two just have as a duo. Jaylen Brown can guard the ball in multiple positions. He can be this fantastic transition player. He can be a good isolation player. Jason Tatum is a really good catch and shoot player. Like, the accumulation of skill that they have as a duo will have to be, in my opinion, fully on display if they do win a championship this year.
But okay, so I'm gonna sound like a hater, but like, I think why I might disagree is because when they did win the title, instead of like having humongous amounts of praise for Tatum and Brown, what was mainly said was the genius of Brad Stevens to have a roster where there was so much high-end variance, so much defense, so much overall shooting.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this roster to me is less talented, clearly. So I think then they would have to beat a better team in the finals in OKC if they were to win a championship this year. So that's why I'm saying I think the difference.
Oh, so you're saying that like there's no way that they could actually beat them if Tatum and Brown aren't like extraordinary.
Yeah, Tatum and Brown would have to be good, really good at that series, in my opinion, for them to have a chance of beating OKC. So I'm saying if that happens, And in my opinion, they are a worse. I think they're a worse team than they were last year. I know Derek said otherwise, but from a talent standpoint, I think they're just
See,
clearly a
From a
worse
talent,
team.
they're worse.
yeah,
Yeah, from a
Uh,
talent, I think they're just built better structurally. Like
that's
I think
yeah,
they're more
yeah.
organized.
That's what I'm getting at.
but I think if they won Tatum and Brown, this ring would get far more credit as players than they did in the 24 one when Derek White's there, Drew
Sure,
Holiday's
I can
there,
agree with that.
Porzingis,
Yeah,
Al
true.
Horford. It's.
I just feel like for some reason though, and like this might just be disdain. I hope it's not because I don't really hate Boston, but like I can legitimately see a world where Brown and Tatum are up and down, but it's like the craziest all-time shooting variance since like maybe the 13 Spurs with crazy ass defense and they still win. And it's like, wow, like this is just the best overall complete team from like, oh, holy shit. In the closeout game, Luka Garza gave you 18 off the bench. Like, like it could be something wild like that. And
I
I
think
think
that's
I
a bit
wouldn't be as
far fetched.
surprised.
I think you're giving the rest of this roster too much
I
credit.
might
To be
be.
honest with you, this roster is not that great, which is why Joe Mazzulla deserves the love But like
Yeah.
Luca Garza, I mean,
Luka Garza, Brian
respectfully,
Shaverman. Yeah. I understand.
yeah, Baylor Shireman, we'll see
He be
what you
hooping
look like
though.
come playoff time.
He be hooping though.
Well, I
You
mean,
can't
we'll see
lie.
what he looks like in these playoff games.
He
You
be
shout
getting to
out
it
to
though,
him,
real talk. I'm
Jordan
just,
Walsh. You
hey.
know, I know they've been good in the regular season. Playoff
You're
basketball is a little different. I'm just saying it's gonna be
not
it's
wrong.
gonna be different.
You're not wrong. Yeah, nah. Well, hey, listen.
What if LeBron carries the Lakers?
Oh, I can't even imagine them talks. Holy shit. If he
Isn't
could
that
actually man down the fort
shit?
and then Luca and Reeves comes back and then he goes right back to being the third, man, that would be a wild overall, I think, narrative. Because remember, at one point, it was like Bron is such a bad third option. It's like redundancy. They could use his contract for like the other players, but then if he turns into like goddamn Superman for like the first round, and then they come back, and then he goes right back to a really good role player supporting in that third spot, it's like wow, like he did everything as a player. That would be
I
crazy,
think
honestly.
LeBron is best, and I just thought um exercise like LeBron to me is such a unique circumstance player now because I do think to encapsulate like all of the value that he can still bring offensively as a player, he needs to be on a team in which they're a good enough offensive unit to sustain his lulls early in the regular season
Agreed.
and also be a good enough defensive unit that him being out there kind of doesn't matter. They can still be a good defensive unit. And so like the teams I was able to come up with, I think like if he were on the Timberwolves replacing Julius Randle, I think that's like the perfect amount of offensive responsibility. You're still getting a lot out of LeBron as an offensive player.
That's a
And
really
I
good
think they can still
replacement.
be a good defensive team with him out there. Also think Detroit, if he were to replace Tobias, and then it's like Cade, okay, Cade, you get to do all of that, right? While LeBron sucks until December. I mean, at this point, we all know that's what's going to happen. LeBron's going to start the season as everybody's going to be asking the questions again. Oh my God, is LeBron washed?
Is he washed? Is he done?
Right?
Yeah. Right.
We get that takeoff every year. Then January 4th, he's an all NBA level player. Like, oh, I guess he's not washed. So, same process, rinse and repeat. So K can do that. Pistons are a good enough defensive team. And then but I just like him sliding to the third. To me, he doesn't do enough like third best player things on the I don't know how to like because his best attributes are still his offensive play.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we're suppressing what he does best to accommodate Austin and Luca. And so I just don't think you're getting the max value as far as LeBron James, the player that you could be getting because of the role that he's slotted in. And you kind of need him to be better at some things that he's not better at this point of his career. So I don't think he should be on the Lakers anymore. I just don't think it's beneficial for either party,
You've been saying this for like a
really, as
while
far as
too.
optimizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, optimizing each other.
True. True. Not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I agree. But I think just I don't think he really wants to move, and I think like there's too much trouble to get him somewhere else is the problem. But I agree.
Mhm.
Like LeBron would be looked at differently this year had he not been in LA and had Austin Reeves not been here. Not to say like it's not a shade on Reeves. It's to your
Mhm.
point. LeBron's secondary scoring will be looked at cooler. LeBron's
Mhm.
playmaking more especially would be looked at like more valuable. For some reason, it would just be like a two-headed snake with Luke and LeBron playmaking. Like they would just
Yeah.
be like, this is the best playmaking tandem of all time. That would be like a fun talking point. But because Reeves is there to take away some of that offensive load, even if it makes the Lakers better than they would be, it doesn't make LeBron look as good.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
it's a tough thing. But yeah, I think the old guard being, the old guard of LeBron, Curry, and Durant being in these situations is a little unfortunate for the narratives. It's harder to bake around. I wish the Warriors were just a little bit better to make a Steph
I
narrative like a little more feasible.
This is the problem I'm having, Derek.
It's
Like
just tough.
with all the players that we're talking about, there's situations where it's like, all right, if by some miracle, like I'm seeing two-way players play rotational minutes for the team because we're that lesser of a basketball unit. Like Guy Santos legitimately has been a story for the Warriors because he's developed himself into being a legitimate role player that can fit into different hats on this team. Draymond is so offensively inept at this point, it is disgusting to watch. And it's getting to a point where even defensively, the unit has been able to be better without Draymond because he tanks you that much offensively. And with Steph, it's like normally he's healthier, but he missed a huge, time, and they lost a shit ton of games. And this is on top of the fact that the second guy that was supposed to be there tore his ACL and is out for a very, very long time. Like it's pretty much DEFCON red right now for for Golden State. It is funny how they trade Kuminga, get a couple games of Porzingis. It's like, oh, that's not bad. Okay, that's cool, but like, it's just not. It's just such a bad roster. It's hard to have any real take about it because it's like he would have to beat OKC, and I have seen a lot of miracles happen. Steph Curry beating the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2026, a year where he played 43 games, is just such a. I just can't even fathom it. I can't even fathom it. And I have a great imagination, Derek. You know that. I can't imagine that.
It's Wilt's 100-point game. Like that's
bro. Like
that's where we're at. It stinks. And then it's funny we didn't even mention LeBron, like to LeBron the Warriors, like.
Oh, I didn't even think about
to
that.
make LeBron look good, to actually give viability to Steph.
I would rather Kawhi go to the Warriors
dance.
if I'm being real with you.
Well, I mean Kawhi's younger and this what he does too, but I don't know, man.
I mean, you say that now because Kawhi Leonard has played these games to get our attention off all of his aspirations, but let's be concerned. Just last season he played 37 games. I'm just.
Oh no. I want to be clear. Like I think it's fucked regardless because with LeBron, it's like he's so old, he's gonna probably be done. I think by next year. I just think functionally based on lineups, if I'm assuming that we get Butler back, there's a way to get Kawhi Leonard on this roster, and then that team hypothetically is something. Because all these things are hypotheticals at this point. With like,
Wait, you can keep Butler and add Kawhi?
Yeah, yes. There's a possible way to do it. It's
but
tricky,
that's what getting
but it's
rid of
doable.
Draymond.
I think so. I think
Does Draymond have 2 years left or one?
Draymond has, I believe, 1 year left on his deal after this one. So he's not gonna go into free agency this offseason. I think it's his next year. It's
his
mainly.
dumbass is gonna ask for like actual money and be like, "I'm worth it."
I
Don't
don't think
insult me
so.
with like a minimum.
I actually don't think so. I think he realizes how low his value
I don't
has
think
gone
he
as a player.
cares. I think he's aware he's ass. I don't think he cares.
I mean, it
Yeah, we're
certainly
talking about Draymond
does.
Green. No, we're
I mean,
acting
this
like
guy,
Well,
like his ego, like he's
yeah,
me.
we're acting like self-awareness is his strong suit. I don't
okay,
understand.
but in terms of what he's actually said, he's said it's about the team being better, and he said he would be willing to take less before, and his last contract extension was actually a descending value contract. So I assume that of him. I'm just saying because we traded Kuminga for Porzingis, that opens up $30 million of cap. So there is a way to get him over here and still have like a real unit. But obviously it's like a crazy ass hypothetical still. But it is possible. So I have to report that at the very least.
Fair.
Yeah. But hey man,
Well, we
NBA
know where
man.
the big fish is going. We know where
You go with this
Giannis is
Giannis
going.
shit,
You can
right?
keep your
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard. You can keep your Kawhi.
You can keep your Kawhi
We're
Leonard, bro.
getting Giannis. Yeah, we're getting Giannis.
I can't.
Giannis and Luca.
I can't wait to see Luka Giannis pick and roll, but in reality, they both want to be the ball handler. That'll be fun.
Actually, we don't have a problem with Giannis slipping out early. You know what I'm saying? Slip out early.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
okay.
That's it. Because he's never played
Okay.
with a PG that can throw a lob consistently from the 3-point line. So I
That's
don't know.
actually fair.
You know, slip out early. If your man is still looking at mid, you know what I'm
You
saying?
got me
Little
there.
toss up.
You do have me
You
there
know what I'm
because
saying? It's like,
Dame could not do that, unfortunately. So.
Dame trying to pull up threes off the pick and roll. We don't even do that. That's not even our bag for
That's
real.
not in
Let's
our
be
bag.
honest.
Yeah.
That's
True.
not our
True.
bag for real.
True. Fair. Although I like I will say this. I think what's going to irritate me the most about the playoffs is that we're going to hear more and more about this Giannis shit round by round by round. And if he don't get traded this offseason, gang, like I might actually block Giannis on Twitter. Like I cannot see this shit on my timeline over and over if he's going to stay on the same team. If all this is just, constant pondering just to get to the next big contract. I think it's serious. I again will maintain the fact that no one is judging Giannis if he had to leave. Obviously, it probably is complicated. He probably does want to stay, but it can't get to all these other bro. The owner said if he doesn't opt into the thing, we're probably gonna trade him. Like they said that. So it's like something has to shake with this, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, the report came out they haven't talked this entire time. So
It's been bad vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish one party would be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get you up out of here. But obviously we are gonna have to suffer and wait because no one can move, no one can actually start doing anything that we as the public can see. Like there's nothing to report on. So
no,
it's tough. I mean, Giannis moving will shake some things up, and I'm just curious, like what teams. I feel like the next couple of years we're still gonna get some crazy restructuring, still some crazy movement.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Which is fun.
You go keep putting Luka in the back.
But then other teams got to do something too,
Giannis
man.
for LeBron, man. Come on, man. Y'all see it, man. Giannis and Luka, modern day Shaq and Kobe. We finna take over the world, man. Let's get to it. Giannis and Luka get together and shit. It can be me, you, and Derek out there.
I know we're talking. Don't give a damn. Don't give a damn if you got
definitely
Luka and Giannis.
Cannot. We are not going to hold up defensively. We are.
Yo, can
Giannis
you imagine the
basket.
Wemby prop though? Like if he has to play a Luka and Giannis led team, but the team is ass obviously because you have both of those players, and the Spurs just belt to ass them because they have the better roster. Oh, the Wemby prop will be filthy. Oh man,
belt to ass, and Luka and Giannis. Please, we're living in fairy tale land. You know what I'm saying? If we still have, let's say we get Giannis.
Okay.
We keep Marcus Smart. We go out there. We get Robert Williams.
Oh shit.
What else?
First team all injured.
Two
Wow.
niggas that be
No.
going through it.
I can't
Hey,
wait for
Austin
6 people to
Reeves, take
combine
this
for 80
discount.
games.
Lou
Austin
Dort.
Reeves,
Take
take
this
this discount.
discount. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey, Lou Dort, your value's in the hole. Come on, raise your
yeah,
value up
yeah. I
on
can
this
100%
good
see Lou
team.
Dort go to the Lakers.
Come
No
on
cap.
now, take this boo-boo contract. Your value's in the dirt right now. Yeah, man. Hey, we get them players. A Lou Dort, a
They gonna sign
Marcus,
PJ Tucker
Giannis,
on a 10-day.
Robert, Luca.
That's crazy.
No.
It's crazy you're expecting Pelinka to pick up the phone.
It's all a Pelinka to make this shit.
Yo,
This
if
shit work out,
Pelinka's line is not ringing, he does not know he has a phone. It's
Almost as delusional as expecting Joel
don't
Embiid to
start.
play.
I knew he was
Didn't
gonna say
expect a
that. I
thing.
knew he was gonna say that.
Do
He
Do
swung
not
at
come at
that.
appendicitis, man. Like,
No, fact.
I will never hear a thing about anyone's bad luck.
I'm not gonna lie,
No
bro.
one got it
Joel
worse
getting
than
that
us.
shit right before the playoffs is so crazy because this shit came out and I'm like, really? Okay, well, they're done. So that's it for them.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
yeah, I'm not even going to pretend that there's a story, but believe me, we somehow write a story. I'll write it down. I will write a book
I believe it.
about this playoff run.
VJ
Don't let it
Edgecombe,
happen.
one of the greatest, like, and right. The signs were there in the regular season because he's statistically has been one of the best players in the clutch. And then Tyrese Maxey gets in there, but VJ Edgecombe takes over, game winning steal, block.
It's there.
He needs to retire, Derek, for his family's sake. If he wants to be
W episode. Catch you on the next one.
you know what they be talking about.
Catch
I'm
me
just
in
saying,
June. Catch
I do
me
feel
in
bad.
You know
June.
what the older heads be talking about, hey man, I still wanted to be able to go out there with my grandkids and you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if he wants to do that, the brother just can't hold up, man. It is what it is.
It is.
But whatever, it's something different every time.
It is
His
something
body,
different. I did not.
His body clearly is just not programmed or wired.
It's very
For
unfortunate.
an 82 game regular season. It's just not. The man has played what? 70 games between the last 2 years combined or something like that. And he still can't. And one thing that, like, because I was shocked to realize that, like, Anthony Davis has only played like 10 or 20 more games since like 2020 since Joel Embiid. I guess the difference between the interpretation though is like there are like multiple playoff runs where at least the Lakers were getting healthy AD heading into the playoffs. So that had like a different feel to it. Whereas, I mean, Joel Embiid, you're not really getting like no longer are you getting at least the outstanding regular season play, and then he's hurt heading into the playoffs. It's like, damn, he's 34 games in the regular season now, and he's still not healthy going into the playoffs. Like, what are we doing at this point?
We are
what
cursed,
are we doing?
man. Like
I don't know if y'all trade and beat this offseason. Like I'm really in my head trying to think about what you do with
trading. There's no trading.
There's probably no trade. Okay. Yeah.
Because there's no leverage. I'm expecting some kind of turnover in whether it's just Nurse, whether it's Morey, whether it's both. There's just going to be turnover, and it's going to like everyone is going to have leverage. Like every negotiation is going to be, well, Joel doesn't play games. Why would I trade him? Why would I? As the other team, why would I trade for him? So I don't know. Like, even if I wanted Joel gone so badly, there's nothing I can do about it. Because trading him for pennies does nothing for me.
That's true.
It's just
that's true.
Like, it sucks, but we're just in limbo. Like, there's 2 iterations of the Sixers, and you're just stuck. And you're stuck with the mythos of like, oh my goodness, what if Joel and then rest of Sixers could actually play? I mean, what if Paul George doesn't have PEDs? Like, this team narratively probably.
This is the best time. This is the best time to trade Paul George. I know that. His value been the highest it's ever been.
I mean, it'd be cool. I just, again, like, the contract is, they're gonna hoe us in negotiations about that. Multiple, first round picks, probably not a thing when it's really what we need. And I don't want big money coming back, especially big long-term money, because like this team is gonna shake. The only thing like dead set is VJ and Tyrese for the next 3 years. So it's like, I don't know. It's gonna be something. Yeah, I don't know, and it's a shame because PG's actually been cool, but it's just like we got 2 years now of what, like sub 40 games or whatever.
Legitimately.
And it's like cool, like cool starter minutes. And people were like, "Oh, like that's the problem." Like people are gonna look back. It's like they had Paul George. How could he not get it done? It's like we got peak Chris Middleton, Paul George. Not even playoff Chris Middleton. The regular season Chris Middleton.
He was going through it. Yeah.
Like
you know,
Joel gets Jimmy for 40 games. Like, what are we doing?
The only thing that's wrong with Paul George is his contract. Still a really good player.
Man.
Yeah, cool player.
Cool player, please.
Cool
if he was
player.
playing next to number 77, he'd be You give Luka
He'd
Paul
be a cool
George
player. What are we doing? He'd be a cool
Bro,
player.
I need you to
Okay.
I need you to say some real talk. If you put Paul George in LA, not the Clippers, Los Angeles, if you thought his mental health was bad before, what LA would do to Paul?
LA.
What? Oh man.
Bro, he's gonna be the 4 man. Look, but again,
The
he's just
4.
making too much money.
He making too much money to be a
Like,
4.
what are we
Yeah, I'm about to-
talking about? Like,
He's making way too much money.
congratulations.
But he's still a good player, though.
He's thoroughly better than Jake LaRavia. Congratulations. Like,
I mean, he's better than Roy Hachimura too.
his PR is
Nice
doing
fans
nothing
for him,
though.
though.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, and I'm saying he is. Like, PG's definitely better than them, but like,
Absolutely.
again, it's not enough because you need Joel healthy and like rhythm. We need Nick Nurse to remember how to run an offense. Like,
He been
I
bad
need a
coaching this
backup
year to
point
me
guard.
too. I don't really like things like that no more.
There's
To be
so
real.
many needs. Like, you don't understand. The Sixers just like keep finding ways to fail themselves. It's not even just Joel. Like, it's not even just a health thing. It's just so many of it. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Yeah. So I don't know. Can't wait to watch y'all teams.
You got VJ.
VJ's
You have
awesome,
VJ.
man. Love VJ.
VJ's awesome for sure.
Love him.
You have Tyrese.
You do have Tyrese.
I love
Maxey.
Tyrese. That's all NBA player right
It
there.
stops there.
They're awesome. Love him. I try to like squint really hard just so I can just watch them sometimes and pretend nothing else is out there.
I know that's right. Yeah, I know that's right, man, for sure. But yeah, man. Honestly, really fun conversation we had overall in the stream. I definitely want to do these more frequently as we're in the playoffs, seeing our overall reactions to how series are going, especially when we get to the Denver and the Wolves conversation, when we actually like are in the series for it. Like, this is my time. I got hella PTO coming up on the way, so I will be doing my film breakdowns again. Derek, you remember that great time. I'm hoping to find a way to like legally do them on YouTube without getting copyright. I might have to do them on Twitch if we were to do it. I'll definitely let y'all gentlemen know if you be down. But yeah, man, fun conversations. I love that we have our takes cemented here. Seeing how these age will be a fun thing for these playoffs. Any closing statements for this episode of the Locker Room, fellas?
W stream. Look forward to watching the games with both of y'all.
Another great episode. Can't wait for after that game 1 when Minnesota goes into Denver, grabs game 1. Real interesting what happens then.
Fairs. Yeah, and I hope that I will be fully recovered from this hamstring injury. I've been working extremely hard behind the scenes. I've been taking a lot of ibuprofen lately, a lot of water, but we getting there. Playoffs are here. I'm super excited to be watching meaningful hoops because pretty soon there's not going to be any basketball for 3 to 4 months. So appreciate it while it's there, people. If you're new to the stream, make sure to like and subscribe. We got some more content coming on the way. Make sure to also tap in to Real Talk's channel. He is in the title and also the description, so tap in there as well. And we'll catch y'all in the next episode when we get to it. Peace out, people. Have a great night. Salute. Peace.
Peace.